And this notice is posted pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas, will conduct a regular meeting on September 15th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in City Hall Council Chambers, 1800 Space Park Drive, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. So the meeting has been called to order. A roll call only has Councilwoman Ewell from here. She is, I believe, in Las Vegas, and is at a very serious conference that she's going to, and will not be able to join us tonight. But she let us know, so we're at full strength. Acts Councilwoman Ewell, which means I want to move to the invocation, and there he is. He's walking right in. Oh, I didn't see that. So Reverend Mike Stone from St. Thomas is going to provide us with the invocation.
God, we come before you tonight with gratitude. We thank you not only for the beauty and clear lake, countless birds that take sanctuary here, but also with us who take sanctuary in this beautiful place to live. For the all-in-wonder that you give us in the morning sunrise, midnight sunsets, calling and giving every one of us to be good stewards of your creation and to love our neighbors even as we love ourselves. We thank you tonight, God, for the servants who serve us as residents in the city of Nassau Bay, for Phil, our mayor, Paul, our acting city manager, for Maria, Cecily, Tim, Troy, Jaime, Eugene, Tony, Tom, Stephanie, Elias, and the rest of our city staff. For our city council members, Haley, Sarah, Chase, Lucy, Ashley, and Brian. We give you thanks for the way of service they've been chosen to take up on behalf of all of us here and the countless volunteers and staff, officers, and agencies that support our common good. As we gather tonight in deliberation, we ask that you would guide deliberation and decisions of this city council. We pray that you would have the eyes to see how our lives are connected to one another, how our common good is upheld when we listen and respond to the most vulnerable among us. We pray that your kingdom of peace and concord come in Nassau Bay, even as it is in heaven. Through your power, work in the region we serve. God, as we participate, we pray for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all citizens. May our public comments be heard, but also offered in a spirit of wisdom and compassion. May we put the interests of others above our own and act with love over common good, being good neighbors, recognizing your image and design in every person. We thank you again for this council, our mayor, our staff, our first responders, our hospital staff, for the privilege it is to live in such a beautiful and wonderful city. Amen.
Thank you, Stone. Tonight, we also have quite a privilege of a local Boy Scout troop, 1966, I believe it is, that is going to present the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would do so, sir.
Color guard attention. Color guard advance. Color guard post colors. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard about face.
Yep. I'll start this. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank
Color
you.
guard about face.
Do you want to have a picture?
Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard at ease, audience ease.
Thank you. Future mayor. Okay. I've got quite a number of appointments and proclamations, or I should say proclamations. And this is one of the most fun things of this. Leave those here. The ladies for the Daughters of the American Revolution, will you please come up here. We have a declaration for this being Constitution Week. It's a proclamation that I'm going to read and present. And if you'll bear with me. The Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas September 17, 2025 marks the 237th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by a constitutional convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to the magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebration which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Bill Johnson, Mayor of the City of Nassau Bay, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd as the Constitution Week. So this is the general. If you would please, would you give a little bit of a background of the Daughters of the American Revolution and what we're doing?
So we represent three of a rather large chapter that meets here in Nassau Bay called the St. Christian chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And we celebrate education, patriotism, and service to our community. To be in the DAR, you have to be able to trace your ancestry back to find someone who provided service or fought in the American Revolution. So most women have men patriots. My patriot is a woman. She helped defend a fort with her brother and her husband and her son. And it was Daniel Boone's sister and Mildred Griffin. So that's my patriot. But it's a really cool way to research genealogy if you're into American history. It's a really nice way to kind of nerd out on American history and to serve your community. Do a lot of community service every year.
Compadres?
This is Catherine Gill and Alice Braun Jones. Also.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
And then we also would like to give you all.
Oh,
We have.
you come presents.
That's right. We have a little poster for you guys to display for Constitution Week. And then also, if you don't already have this, we've got little mini U.S. Constitutions for y'all.
Do you have one for everybody on council? You
I
do?
believe so.
That would be great. We'll make sure everybody gets one.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you. Next. Tom? Join me. As well as Matt, Rock, get up here too. Anybody else? So this is for Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Nassau Bay Fire Department is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in Nassau Bay and visiting. And by the way, I'm going to intervene the volunteer fire department. And whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and the ever-increasing presence of lithium-ion batteries and many household devices introducing unique fire risks. And whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, toys, are all powered by lithium-ion batteries, which, if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat and start a fire or explode. Education. Whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action. Buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas the Nassau Bay's first responders are dedicated to reducing occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, lithium batteries in your home serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires at homes and communities. Now, therefore, I, Phil Johnson, Mayor of the City of Nassau Bay, do hereby proclaim the week of October 5th through the 11th, 2025, as Fire Prevention Week. Sir, it's there. You might want to mention a few things.
So first of all, the ion, the lithium ion battery, it just goes and that goes to the grid. Also. And then open house, Friday, October 11th. Hope you're all there. There's always good times.
And that's open to everybody. It's October 11th. Right?
6 o'clock.
Friday. Thank you. All right.
Thanks. All right. Thank you.
Chief? Sure. Come on up. Would you like to come up also? Are you sure? You're a big part? Okay. This is about National Night Out, which is October 7th, 2025. Whereas the National Night Out campaign, now in its 42nd year, is a nationwide community building event designed to promote police-community partnerships, crime prevention awareness, neighborhood camaraderie, and the strengthening of community spirit. And whereas the City of Nassau Bay recognizes the importance of encouraging citizens to come together with law enforcement, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, and city officials to foster relationships that improve safety and enhance the quality of life in our community. And whereas National Night Out provides an opportunity for residents to gather with neighbors, participate in community activity, and reaffirm their shared commitment to keeping Nassau Bay a safe, welcoming, and engaging city. And whereas the City Council of Nassau Bay, especially one in particular, encourages all neighborhoods to participate by hosting block parties, cookouts, parades, or other community events that bring residents together in the spirit of cooperation and unity. And whereas the City of Nassau Bay extends gratitude to the Nassau Bay Police and Department, Volunteer Fire Department, EMS, city staff, and community partners for their dedication and commitment to making National Night Out a success every year. Now, therefore, I, Phil Johnson, Mayor of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, October 7th, 2025, as National Night Out. Thank you. All right. You want to say something? I'm sure. Oh, come on. No, let me say something. Oh, then, yeah, never mind. I'll just, yeah, get a picture. You can come up. All right, thanks. Okay. Next on the agenda is the citizens' comments and public hearing. This is a time for citizens to speak before council for items generally, but not necessarily not on the agenda. So please, this is the time frame. It's 7:17. The citizens' comment section is open, so anybody who wants to address council is now open. Name, rank, and serial, and only 3 minutes.
This won't take long.
Jim?
My name is Catherine Rice, 18635 Martinique Drive, Nassau Bay, Texas. I just wanted to give a big thank you to Maria and y'all's staff for helping us out the other day when I did not tell her when our garden club meetings would be. And she and the receptionist, I think her name's Karen Rice, they really pitched in and took care of things and accommodated us, made us feel real at home. And so I just want to give a thank you to Maria for that and the staff.
How many people from the garden club were there? Probably 40 or so?
40 or 50.
So it was not an easy accommodation.
Yeah, they had to arrange things, and people had to put up with us, and we really did appreciate it. And I apologize to Maria for letting that happen.
Yep.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, name, rank, and serial number, Jim.
Jim Shaw, Corporate Lane, been resident since 1985.
Just want to thank the city for helping to support the PTSD Foundation. So we're doing 2 events next month. One's on the 11th, kind of a practice event on Lake Nassau, and the 25th, the veterans from Camp Hope will be joining us. So y'all come out and
Say those dates again. for
Okay, the
people.
11th is the second weekend. We're going to have a practice event on Lake Nassau.
And that's open to everybody.
Absolutely, all of them open, everything's open to everybody. And then the 2 weeks later, on the 25th, we're going to have one that's going to start at Bal Harbor and go through a couple different locations along the lake and into the cove, near the cove.
Okay.
And go around the creek and into Nassau Bay Yacht Club. Again, that's open to everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anybody else? Anybody else? This is your opportunity. Going once? Going twice? The citizens' comments are closed. It's 7:20. Next is the council member comments. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, I will be brief. I just want to say thank you to everyone who shows up to all these meetings and helps make this place a great community. Everyone here, I'm happy to see you. And I was very happy to see Troop 1966 from St. Thomas. That's, both of my sons are in that troop. The blonde one was mine that came in with the American flag. Great part of this community, and they're the ones that do some of the flags in the neighborhood, the ones with the really thick poles. So if you're curious about that, let me know that too. Thanks.
Brian?
All right. I just want to say, if you can look at the agenda, a big part of the agenda tonight is settling up the budget for the next fiscal year. And I just want to put out a big thank you to Jaime and the rest of the Nassau Bay crew here. I know it was a lot of work. It's quite a hassle to get all the council together. So you guys persevered again. This is my first time. Jaime knows I've been in his office at least once every week, one day a week, trying to figure out how it all works. And so thanks for your time.
Chase?
All right, so it's my birthday on Thursday, so you can sing happy birthday to me later. But I was really hoping the Daughters of the American Revolution would stay, because since it is Constitution Week for my birthday, I did write a statement out that I would like to read to everybody. So bear with me. It might take me a couple of minutes here. So I did want to thank Nassau Bay for being a place where the First Amendment is well and alive. The First Amendment gives us something extraordinary, the freedom to speak, to gather, to worship, to challenge, and to disagree, but it also asks us something in return. It asks that we use our voices in place of fists. It asks that we choose dialogue over intimidation, and that we lean into understanding instead of pushing people away. There's no place for violence where debate belongs. Violence tears down communities, but honest conversation, even when it's uncomfortable, builds it up. Our disagreements should sharpen our thoughts, not harden our hearts. Here in Nassau Bay, that responsibility is even more real. We are not faceless strangers on the internet. We're neighbors. We see each other at restaurants, at church, at parks and coffee shops. When we disagree, it's not just politics, it's a conversation with very people who help make this place our home. And if we can't model respect and patience here, we can't ever hope to heal division beyond our city limits. Even on this council, we do not always agree, we debate, we differ, sometimes strongly, but we always come back to the table because our commitment to this community outweighs our disagreements. That is the model I believe we can all follow, to listen with humility, to speak with honesty, and to remember that every voice in this city matters. As I speak with residents in this city, I'm reminded that the story of our nation is not just written in D.C. or in the headlines, it's written right here in cities like ours, and the choices we make every day to treat each other with dignity, Now, we can't control all that happens out there, but we can control how we respond here at home. If we continue to choose respect over anger, dialogue over division, and patience over violence, then we honor not only the First Amendment, but the very heart of our community. My hope is that we continue to be a city where neighbors can disagree without turning on one another, and where our children see that differences don't have to divide us. That, to me, is the direction worth heading, and it begins with each of us. So thank you for being a city that lives out respect, dignity, and dialogue in real ways. My hope is that we continue on this path together so that our children and neighbors can look to us and learn from us and carry these values forward. So that's my little 2 cents on the First Amendment.
Well said.
Thank you. Aside from that, I'm still working on the curbs. So that's just, I'm always going to say that. But I did want to mention all of that, especially with what's going on in our community, and kind of just wanted to make sure that we continue to live out those values. So thank you.
Sarah?
Good job, Chase. So the Scouts was very sweet because Ben just started Scouts. Clearly, it was the older people that were invited because I'm not sure what he would have done if he was a part of that process. But I'm married to an Eagle Scout too, so I think Boy Scouts is great for kids, or Scouts in general. Wanted to mention Sergeant Kayla Sullivan. Her case was finally tried, and while it wasn't the absolute, I think, result that we wanted as far as the level of conviction the man received, he did receive 58 years in the penitentiary, which hopefully is the rest of his life. So she's finally been honored in that way. We took a long time to get there. Too long. The wheel of justice, the wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes, way too slowly. And as cases get older, they don't get stronger. So I would have liked to have seen that case tried a lot faster, but here we are. So as far as, it was funny that you were mentioning the Constitution, Chase, because I'm teaching the Constitution. I teach the legal studies class at Lutheran South High School right now. And we are studying the First Amendment right now. So all the events that have happened recently, the kids had a lot of questions about all this stuff, and I reminded them that we live in a wonderful democracy and that free speech is very important, and that when horrible things happen, that's not good for our country because it makes people live in fear of speaking, and that's never good for anybody. And so, heavy stuff aside, the Reindeer Fun Run is December the 13th, same day as Holiday in the Park. And you can go to the Canby website to register for it. The first 350 registrants get a T-shirt. And this year we're doing something a little different. We're doing a competition between the area schools. So all of CCISD schools, basically any school, you can write in your school if you go to a private school, and you can win the most registrants from a certain school will win $500 for their school. So it's pretty cool. So that's kind of different this year, but go to the Canby website to register. I'll put some flyers at City Hall, and if anybody's interested in sponsoring the event, also reach out through the Canby website. So thank you.
Ashley?
Right, that was a lot to follow here. Also want to commend Jaime and all the staff on a great job on the budget process. It was a lot more seamless this year. I feel like last year was a little overburdensome. Want to thank Chief Comey for sending out the National Night Out notification via email. I would encourage everyone to get out there and be a block captain. I know Chief's going to speak to it more in his comments, but you can go out to our website and fill out a job form to become a block captain. So we hope to see a lot of folks out there. Reminder that it is hurricane season, so please be prepared. We have a lot of fall festivals coming up, including St. Thomas and St. Paul's, and then also I think most folks saw that the pumpkin patch is coming to town again, so please be sure to take a visit to that. And last but not least, we finally have a date for Keyboards at Christmas this year. I'm excited to say it's not going to be on the same day as the boat parade, Reindeer Fun Run, all the other events. It's going to take place on Friday, December 19th at 6:30 at Gloria Day. So thank you again for opening your doors. It's going to take place in the chapel. Attendance is limited to 400 people, but it is open and free to the community. You just have to log on and reserve a seat. So you'll see more marketing on that to come, and I believe Miss Jamie Rocha, who heads it up, is going to be speaking at our next council meeting. So that's all I had.
Thank you. I agree with everything that has been said. There's two things that I'd like to mention. The first is again, a continuation of the celebration for some economic development. I think if you were at the Margarita event, you heard the discussion that Luby's is now going to have a new owner. There is the Schaefer's family restaurant has communicated to us that they have entered into the purchase and an agreement for acquiring that property and is planning on becoming a business citizen within our city. And I see Mark Denman out there, so I want to acknowledge that he was involved with this also. And it's going to be a great benefit where we're finally going to see a restaurant, a family sit-down restaurant and bar in Nassau Bay. So I'm really pleased to announce that. And a lot of that had to do with the closing of the deal with Margaritaville. So there's a whole lot of that I think we're going to see as part of our city. The other is, and Councilwoman Sarah mentioned about Kayla Sullivan. Very much long overdue, and it's a chapter I think everyone was very glad to see end. I think it's something where her family, her wife Tracy and her son needed that closure, and I was glad to see that he did get 58 years. So not enough in my book, but still that's a very significant conviction. With that, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Kayla, for her family, and all those who were involved, and honor her. So if you would please, I'd like a moment of silence. Okay, moving on. The reports from staff and members and committees. Paul?
Thank you, Mayor. We still having hot weather in the city, so I'd like to thank the Public Works guys for repairing all the irrigation leaks, keeping all the beautiful flowers and the grass growing. Also, PD and fire. It's really hot out there, carrying all that equipment. I know that's strenuous sometime. Troy Bradfield and Gil Wallace, Animal Control. Our shelter is max capacity, and so they're doing their best to make sure all our animals are taken care of. So big shout out to them. Jaime, great job on the budget. Thank you. And then finally, I've been working with Kevin Hare with Centerpoint for about 5 to 6 years. And one of the goals of council about 5 or 6 years ago was to get three-phase power from the park, coming from David Braun Park up to Upper Bay, where we can energize our lift stations with bigger pumps and bigger motors, and possibly tie in our 550 kW generator. That project alone is about $3 to $4 million, and we were doing it in 2 phases. One, trying to get a grant to do the engineering alone was probably about $50,000 to $75,000, and then the project's about $3 to $4 million. And so found out, happy to announce that Centerpoint actually approved the project, so it's going to be zero taxpayers' dollar on this. So very, very excited about that. Kevin will be giving a presentation tonight about it, and then just also updating everything on the Centerpoint power upgrades in the city.
I want to add to that is a lot of the reason on Upper Bay that we have the flooding that we do is because when a storm comes, that we lose power, and if you lose power, then those pumps can't do what they're designed to do. So I'm not only looking forward to putting in bigger pumps, but just having it tied in with our generator at the water plant means that we're no longer dependent on the transmission lines, that we'll be able to have our own power to tie in with that line and be able to keep the power going. So I appreciate that comment, Paul. That's a great one.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, citizens. So the report for our numbers for August 2025, 201 calls for service, 23 reports, 114 traffic stops, 78 citations, 63 warnings, 5 arrests, all of those were misdemeanors, 4,998 patrol miles, 32 hours of in-service training hours, and our average response time was 3 minutes and 42 seconds. That'd have been bad. You didn't find that in the study, huh? 3 minutes and 42 seconds, so our average response time is staying about where it was. Again, Councilwoman Klug mentioned National Night Out coming up on October 7th. So if you have not registered, go to our Facebook page, the city's Facebook page, our web page. On the police department's webpage, there's a link on the left-hand side in the banners for National Night Out. Go in there, and there's a form to fill out to register. I did reach out to all of I think we had 15 or 16 neighborhoods from last year, reached out to all those block captains. So I think right now we're standing at 5 neighborhoods, so we still need some people to register, so you can go and register. If you can't find it on the webpage or you can't find it on the Facebook page, just give us a call over here at the office, and Tiffany will be able to help you get registered and signed up. But if we don't know that you're having a party or you're having a block party or anything, we're not going to be able to come visit with you. So we need to have the registration so we can come on out there and visit with you. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks for keeping us updated last week, too. The email updates you sent us last week, that was great, too.
Correct.
Thank you.
Matt?
All right, it's been a drought. I have numbers, a backlog of numbers for you. Finally, we finally got the system. A lot of work by Tom, Leslie, and a few others to get the new system and get all the data manually inputted from all the calls that we've run as we've been fighting with this new system. But growing pains are getting behind us, and we're adapting to it. So let me start with saying we have 36 members. And then I'm going to give you this backlog of data. So our calls, the number of calls that were run in April were 29. May was also 29. June was 38. July was 35. And August was 32. So that's a total of 163 calls over those few months since we've been backlogged. Time spent on calls. So we're still in the process of getting like total volunteer man hours in, which is the number you guys are used to hearing. But overall those calls, what we do have is the time spent on calls. It was 1,354 man hours just running calls, which is only a fraction of the volunteer hours. As you know, also, we've had a very busy Marine season, a very successful Marine Patrol season. So a few hours on that. So for Marine Patrol hours, it was a total of 610 hours. That's fire department hours and then a little bit of PD. On patrol was 239 hours, 84 of which we had officers on board. So that's built into that number. In response to Marine calls was 217 hours. A total of 103 and a half, let's round it to 104, training hours were on the Marine. Maintenance at 37 hours, and then public relations on the water, 13 and a half hours. So.
And correct me, you used the boat for a actual fire response.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, a boat fire.
Yep. 3, I'm hearing, I was aware of one that was in public because it was, but it was at least
several,
3 times. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the boat, if you haven't seen it, it's down at Leeward. You can drive by and see it at the lot. It's an old Coast Guard boat. So if you're familiar with like the orange kind of rings on the side, it's an old Coast Guard boat, so we had to adapt it to be a fire boat. Vic Studer, who recently retired from NASA, and we hope he's not planning to leave the area anytime soon, is our engineer extraordinaire. And he just dreams up these things between him and Tom, and then they build them and make them happen. And so they took just a pump that you would expect, put it on the boat, but then we had to rig. It's impressive. If you want to see it, we should take pictures and show them here one day. But it's essentially a siphon that's on a cantilever, so we can turn it, and the siphon goes into the water, and then that's how you get your draw to the pump, and then we run it to fire hose on the boat. We use the old machine gun mount from the Coast Guard and put a deck mount, so now it sprays water, not bullets, which is really cool. So.
I have to intervene because there's a gentleman in the fire department that has used that to spray Nauticat families in a very fun and way but also showed how far that pump can really pump.
Yes.
His name's Roderick Molyneux, who was out there having fun, and he even sprayed our house, so it's.
Trying to get you.
I know, you tried.
So Rod, Don Hands, and Chuck Dickerson,
Yeah.
resident names here, you guys know most of them, were our boat operators. We're in the process of training more boat operators so we can spread the pain a little bit more next year as far as the shifts that need to be picked up. But they carried the bulk of, they were the ones operating the boat anytime we were out on it, of these total of 610 hours. So
I
big
give
thank you to them.
great recognition to that, because in the same time where there was fun and humor,
Yeah.
it was pretty obvious the power of that, and it made sure people behaved.
Yes.
And and even he went by, and that people were wanting him to come by, everything was very quiet, and that when that boat was out there spraying things, so it was.
It's a great resource we have, and
great.
everyone in the
It
area
was
knows we
great.
have it, and they rely on us when they need us to call us, and we're there. So it's a great relationship. And then
Thank
they
you.
come help us when we need them. Thank
Yep,
you.
Thank you. Right. Code enforcement?
Good evening, how y'all doing? I've got some numbers for August.
Put your name, because this is the first time
yeah,
you've really
I'm
addressed.
sorry.
So that,
I'm a little nervous, so
everybody knows
excuse
that you're new in the position, and you're starting off here, and even though you were introduced, I'd like to give you the opportunity to do that.
My name is Eugene Gracia, and I'm the new code enforcement officer. Nice to meet y'all. Here are some numbers for August. High grass and weeds, 2 violations, tree limbs and debris, 1. Defective parking lot, 1. Building permit required, 3. Total open cases, 7. Total cases, 9. Certified letters sent out were 9. Warning notices issued were 3, and 0 citations. So this is new to me, so that's all I have. Y'all have any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you, and good
Yes, sir.
job.
Yes, sir.
All right. EMS, Sean?
Good evening. EMS department ran 76 calls. We transported 68 patients to the hospital. Our average response time is 5 minutes and 42 seconds. And we ran 5 Webster calls, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Only 5, though, right?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Public Works. Elias?
Good evening. For our capital improvement projects, McKinney continues work on the Nassau 1 water line. To date, 5,800 feet of line have been installed, and we have about 3 more tie-ins left before we close that project out. And the next water line project will begin September 29th. For water department, we had a major water leak at 2401 Baycrest. Wastewater department running under normal operations. Our Parks Department, we cut 3 dead trees down at David Brown Park and 1 at the dog park. Fresh mulch was spread at all playgrounds. Sprinkler repairs have been ongoing in the medians throughout the city. For our Street Department, we added a new SCADA system to 2 stormwater lift stations, the one on 18611 Upper Bay and the one on Back Bay Court. And curb painting has been ongoing as well.
So did I hear that correctly? Only one main water break?
Yes, sir. Just one.
Between August to,
Yes, sir.
that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the peak period,
Yep, it is.
peak
Yeah.
period.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Elias?
I just got in here, but did you address the hydrilla in the lake?
Yes, ma'am. So we've been spraying, we had our lake management, the company that does the management, they came out and did an assessment, and they recommended something for us to spray. So we've been doing it once a week, but we're going to up it to twice a week, so hopefully we can get it under control.
You've done some physical removement.
Yes, also, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's an endless chore, though. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
you're just hoping the chemicals start working, right? And I think
Yeah.
that it doesn't help that I don't know that we've had any significant rain events as far as to wash things away. Okay, that's all I was going to ask you. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Special events? Are you still speaking for special events? Or
December
Chase?
13th, all day in the park. I don't
Yeah.
know when we talked about last time when the
Yeah.
Halloween is, but I don't remember the date.
Okay. Parks and Recreation?
Holidays December
17th, isn't it?
17th, okay, probably.
Maria, do you know Halloween in the park is at the 17th? 1 second.
It's the 18th.
18th. You would know.
We,
Name, rank, and serial number, please.
Oh, goodness. Parks and Recreation Committee and Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful Committee. I want to thank the mayor and council for all the work you did in reading over our requested budget. It was a little outside the regular parks items that we've come up with, but thanks to you, each of you, we have good-looking parks. Only need maybe a tad more here and there, which I'll discuss, but thank you very much. I also want to thank you to Maria. My goodness, she's got, no offense to you, Mayor, but she's got a huge job. I mean, she's coordinating all of you and all these committees and redoing all of the committees, and thank you. You're very patient, very patient. So as far as committees, I want to say that it's been really nice. Michelle Barecki and I have talked numerous times, starting in the summer. I've talked to several committee chairs and trying to coordinate, so I appreciate all the good things we have happening here in the city. Okay, quick update with the 24-25 budget. The concrete pads, Elias just updated me, are supposed to be laid in David Braun Park this week. Those will be for the 3 ADA tables. We're putting in pads, so from the main sidewalk to the table, so a wheelchair can be pushed up to the table and be sitting on concrete, not sink in mud or dirt or whatever's right around there. We're also adding a concrete pad from the main sidewalk to the metal ramp for the merry-go-round, the ADA merry-go-round, because otherwise they hit ruts and dirt, and that should be smooth. All of these will be accessible from the main sidewalk that goes from the parking lot, kind of runs along and will go straight to that gazebo. So there'll be actually 3 ADA tables kind of making the curve and near the playground, so that everyone can enjoy the fun. The pads are also going to be put out for the trash receptacles. Elias and I have talked several times. A lot of the problem with our current trash receptacles is they've rusted out from the bottom, and this should stop that and make them last forever, at least a long time. Update on the benches, went round and round. Craftsman is a good company, but they're very hard to talk to. So they know my name. Anyway, their approximate delivery is supposed to be October 8th. The last lady I spoke to will give me a call in the morning and update that. They come from the East Coast. I'd like to say thank you to Elias. Very patient man, continues to be very patient. He responds quickly to everything. Puts us on the list, and we appreciate that. And more than pipes, our city shines. What else? I guess Maria, thank you again. And Wednesday night, we have our parks meeting. We're back to having regular meetings on regular days. Does anybody have any questions? No? Thank you.
Anybody? And thank you, Nancy. Then the Maritime Safety Committee, I've been in communication with Brian Brown, the chair. He got pulled to Homa today, so he will not be able to do his presentation. It was unexpected, but he said for the committee that he will have a report tomorrow for everybody, so that'll be coming. Moving on to the consent, and thank you everybody for those updates. The consent agenda is next. There's a laundry list of items here. These are matters listed under these items are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these matters. If discussion is desired by any single council member on any item, that item will be removed from the agenda and will be considered separately. So I have consideration and possible action for the following items, which is to approve the minutes from August 4th, 2025, budget workshop meeting minutes, August 7th, 2025, special meeting minutes, August 7th, 2025, workshop meeting minutes, August 11th, 2025, regular meeting minutes, August 17th, 2025, workshop meeting minutes, August 21st, 2025, special meeting minutes, September 3rd, 2025, workshop meeting minutes, which kind of goes into the work that Jaime and the city staff, as well as you, the city secretary, of how many meetings had to be coordinated. But any of these items that somebody would like to see pulled from the,
Not pulled, but there's a correction.
would you please provide?
On the first, second, and fifth one, Ashley's name is misspelled in the roll call. That's it. The August 4th, the first August 7th, and August 14th.
They're all under number 2. They're all under
Yeah,
number 2.
in the roll call.
Yep.
And then I would also add on the budget workshop for August 7th, I believe it's Chief Doyle, not Chief Dowell.
Oh.
And that's under number 4.
Okay. Any other consideration, any other modifications, or any other concerns?
I move we approve the consent agenda with the modifications we just discussed.
Do I hear a second? Second by Chase. Then any other comments? I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. And this, Jaime, if you'd help us here, I'm moving into the public hearing. The City of Nassau Bay will hold a public hearing on the proposed annual operating and capital budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, which is in our booklets there on 36 and 37, but particularly the taxpayer impact statement. The public hearing is now open at 7:47. Did you want to go over just here real quickly, the impacts? Just go over it for the parties. This, just to help Jaime out here a little bit, these are items that must be publicized to the citizens. So he's done the minimum, but I like to go over it just a little bit so everyone can understand it. You do well with that. So.
Okay, sure. So good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. So the City Council, the proposed tax rate for the upcoming fiscal year will be .670499. That's the same rate as last year. So the average homestead taxable value for last tax year is $367,294. The average homestead taxable value for this fiscal year is $382,037. So that's a 4% increase on the average homestead taxable value. So as a result, your tax bill would increase by $98.85. If the City of Nassau Bay would adopt the no new revenue tax rate, which is .658687 versus the proposed rate, then you would have a savings of $45.12. Any questions, Mayor, Council?
Anybody from, this is a public hearing, so this is open to citizens to comment, that if there's any questions, the whole purpose of a public hearing is to not have the format that we generally have for city council that allows anybody to speak or ask questions during this public hearing. Are there any questions from the citizens or comments? Going once? Going twice? Then public hearing is closed. It is 7:50. And the only comment that I'll add on to that is this council has been very diligent in being fiscally responsible. One of the things we were not aware of in here that I'll bring reference to is we were coming to very much the useful end of life of a number of the communication hardware that the city uses, which was estimated at about a little over $400,000, and this covers a portion of that, but it's something we felt very, very, how should I say, diligent in making sure that those communication radios were provided for our emergency responders. So some of those things are what is at least driving here where we needed a little bit of the extra income, even though the rate is staying the same, your values are up, so it's a implied increase. So I believe that it's good, and I just wanted that on the public record. Anybody else want to make a comment from this? Then I'm going to move on. The proposed budget, as we move into this, is available in the city secretary office at City Hall, online as the fiscal year 2025 proposed budget, and now we're moving into old business. And if you would do me a little bit of a favor, I understand the representative from Centerpoint may have some children that may not have a babysitter, so he'd ask for consideration to maybe talk first. So I would like to bring up the Centerpoint to provide an update on our planned electrical upgrades. No worries. And I'm really glad you brought her forward.
I've got a 4-year-old going on 40. So this is what we're doing for the overhead rehabilitation in the city of Nassau Bay. I've been with Centerpoint. My name's Kevin Hare. I've been with Centerpoint for about 20 years. I've lived in the city of Nassau Bay for approximately 50 years. So I love this city. It's not my area, but I want to take care of it. And I've been working with Paul for years. He calls me all the time. He's got every one of my phone numbers. After this, if you have anything that you want to call me and ask me about problems, he's got my work phone, and I told him to give it to whoever wants it. So I apologize during this rehabilitation. We've had some outages that we've been working on to change poles and the wire out on the circuit. Some people weren't notified. I apologize for that. We're going to try not to do that again, just so you all know. So if you want to go to the next slide.
Just in reference to that, if something happens where, there's not notification and somebody has damage from something like that, is there a way that they can communicate with Centerpoint, or is there any way there can be compensation or anything along that line?
I have nothing to do with that, other than they can call me, and I can give them the claims phone number.
Okay.
Because I can't tell you what claims is going to pay and what they're not.
Okay.
So, but that's one of those things, if you have to call me, I'll give the number out, and you're more than welcome to call them.
So just so that you're not doing any privileges, I got an email of somebody mentioning a number of people in our Harbor, Martinique area.
Right.
But you also caught the mayor in that, so we weren't notified either, so.
That's what I was talking about. I know.
So I appreciate, because we have a number of senior citizens, so that's an important aspect of our notification.
Well,
Some of them are on equipment that require power.
Well, my family loves this neighborhood. I bought my parents' house. My dad will be 94 next month, and he still lives here. So I get it. I understand.
Don't let me steal your thunder. I just appreciate you mentioning that right off the bat.
Yes, sir. So that was actually in this first phase that we're doing, which it's kind of hard to see, but it's going down. I can barely see it. It's going down behind Martinique, starting up behind over there by Antigua. So that's the first phase of overhead that we're doing, going down to the park. And so if you go on to phase number 2, so this is going to be down San Sebastian with the overhead, and what we're doing on all of these phases is we're putting in taller, more resilient poles, and we're changing out all of the primary wire on there. And so this phase number 2 right now, because we've upped our wind load, they're going right back through and making sure that we have the right equipment that we're installing. So this is probably going to be in about 3 months, 2 to 3 months before we do this one. And then if you go to the next one, phase 3, that is also going to be tied for 3 months. So that goes down to the other side of the park, down by the water treatment. And so and then if you go to phase 4, this is what we want to do, the grand deal of it all, is we're going to go underground from one side of the park to the other side of the park, and we're going to tie those two circuits together. So that way, if we have an outage for whatever reason, instead of 1,700 people being out during that outage for hours, we can do switching and get it down to a minimal amount of people. And Paul and I have been working on this for years. And we've trimmed the trees, but these poles are going to be taller, so they won't be right in the middle of all of the oak trees that we have here. And so hopefully that will help as well. But
Is that when you're going to tie in the 480 three-phase?
Well, no, we can do that before. We can do that in phase one. As I told Paul, I've got to go down there and make sure that I install the pole for that with this phase. If not, we can do that anytime. So that won't be a big deal for us to do that. I realize it's taken a while.
Big deal for us.
Well, I mean, as a city, yes.
It is, so thank you.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, I love this city, and so I'm doing what I can. And anybody's welcome to call me, and I don't know if you want people to ask me questions now, or if you want to.
Mayor, I'd like to make one comment. When I was notified about the power outage on Harbor, I immediately called Kevin. He reached out to his crews. They did make a mistake. Kevin did all he can. I think the power outage was going to be till about 5:30, and he rushed the crews, got power on by 2. And so, but I told him anything that the city can do to help, if a problem comes up that next time, just let us know, and we'll do everything we can.
Are you willing to take questions from the audience?
I'll take them.
I'll open it to the audience. Anybody want to, if this is your chance for Centerpoint.
Kevin, thank you for coming. It's exciting to see the three-phase coming through. We're at the end of the circuit. We're on Harbor. That's several days.
Right.
And that new three phases put in, will that give you two different directions, keep us having power versus just one?
Yes, so there is one circuit that comes down this way and stops right there at the water treatment. The other circuit comes down this way and stops right there in front of the townhomes. So when we tie this together, we will have switching. So if something happens over here, we can switch this to energize up until the point where there's a fault, and vice versa.
We get them all the time. We're at the end.
Oh, I know, and we've also done some switching. We did this, I want to say 3 years ago, where we took the hospital off of that circuit and put it onto a different circuit, along with, I think we did City Hall and maybe one other place, I can't remember, that we took them off and put them on a different circuit. So that way we would have switching for those right now.
I also want to compliment Christian, who's given me his number, and I communicate with him. Is he with Centerpoint, or is he contractor?
He's probably contractor.
Well, he's been very good, but he was very apologetic for disinvestments last time. I just want to know, what steps are you going to take to make sure people are notified? What are you doing different to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Oh, well, I chewed them out, and so that was the first thing. And I got with what we call the QA that works for us, that makes sure the contractors are doing what they're supposed to. And he kind of jumped on them too, and they said, yeah, we made a mistake. That was our fault. And so told them we can't do that. So we're going to try. I mean, I understand, and nobody likes an outage, but hopefully in the grand scheme of things, when all of this is done, it'll be down to a very, very bare minimum, just going with switching. So, yes, sir.
Anybody else? Yep. Like go over to Rod.
Just a clarification, Paul, you mentioned that use of tiebreakers, if they're able to use that emergency generator at the water treatment plant for peak time of the storm, and then isolate and run off that generator and run the pump.
And that's, one thing me and Kevin been talking about, and I think he said it set in the pole and then we'll start looking at that. Yeah. So we can run that pump up to KW.
Yeah, that's like a 3 times the size generator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good, good.
Back in the back?
Yeah, apologies to the MRS. When did you say this was
When did I say?
When did you say this was
Chronology.
Oh, so the phase one is right now that they're working on. The phase two on the other ones, on the phase 2 and 3, those are gonna be approximately 3 months because we gotta get all the materials and then we've gotta get it scheduled with the crews, but right now it's going back through on another wind scale level. And then after that, probably, we can't do it during hurricane season, doing the underground tie, because it has a trench. And if the park floods like it always does during hurricane season, then we're gonna be messed up. We're not gonna be able to, we're gonna have to pump it out, redo it, and we don't want that big trench open and having mud caved in.
And when would you be complete with phase 4 approximately?
Hopefully next year.
Yeah, so 12 months to be done with all, hopefully
I'm
year.
hoping, yes.
12 to 18 months for.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me make sure we got, anybody other questions? Matt, I saw you.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Robert, thanks again for being here. On that claim number, I know a lot of the people that are doing work for contract.
Right.
Matter, is it
No.
still going through CenterPoint claim?
Yes.
Yep.
And what is the current policy of notification of planting outages? Have family members on that with them or other items in their home that will require that, that will require a power source? What is your current policy of notification?
There's not a written policy that I know of. Because I said that I'm aware of, there's not a written one. And I am a staff service consultant, I'm not the CEO that writes that stuff. So I know that they usually try to give a 2 or 3 day heads up so that things can be done. So if they're not, you're welcome to get my phone number and give me a call and I can look into it.
What can the residents expect as a notification period for
I would say 2 or 3 days.
Can you not insist that CenterPoint creates a policy?
So my understanding is that they own those assets that are there, so it's very difficult. I don't know if you know that, but it's something I'll personally look into, because I actually thought they had I thought it was a 3-day notice policy.
Well, like I said, I'm not aware of
Yeah.
one. It doesn't mean it doesn't.
I'll personally
exist.
follow up with that if you'll give, yeah. I know, I'll say a plug for our city manager. He truly, when there's any type of a outage, he really strives to make sure people understand the reporting requirements. So, but I'll follow up with that directly. I appreciate you raising that. Yeah, I don't, that's what I was asking about the compensation earlier, so.
And there's also different outages that you have to be aware of. Like this, we know that we're doing the work. So then you should be notified there's a 2 or 3 day. If you have somebody that hits a pole or something like that, then we're gonna have to take you out in that.
This is a planned outage from a utilities. So it seems like there is under the public service agreement, I think that there would be some municipal policy for notification of residents.
Yeah, I do know that, and we had a little, because it's what I was thinking too, there's the Public Utilities Commission that usually has jurisdiction here.
Still does.
And still does. But I will follow up directly. I'll come back to you if you're going to be here, so.
If I can, I just looked
Yeah.
up the what is available online. So you can sign up for their Power Alert service. So you would basically go to the CenterPoint Energy website, give them your information. They can send you texts, emails. That way you can be notified ahead of time. They also are supposed to, it looks like, maybe do door hangers or mail. So it looks like you can reach out to CenterPoint to get on that list for that notice. It doesn't say specifically what the actual time frame
Policy,
is,
yeah.
but you can reach out to CenterPoint if you wanted to reach out to them and get on that, or whoever.
But also, I know for us, that when we are going to plan an outage just for a single business or something like that, We try to do it a week or 2 weeks in advance. So, but I mean, I don't know, that's why I'm saying, you can call me on it and I can look into it, but I don't know what happened, just like until Paul called me, I had no idea that other people weren't even notified.
Yeah.
Do we have final approval that actually start work? So we say,
Well, we worked, I worked together with Kevin on it, and then we, not really, because
I
it's a
think the
private,
answer- I
it's a
think the
private,
answer's
yeah.
no.
I mean, I tried to look at every case scenario and what's best for the residents, but when it comes down to it, it's private, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it also mentions in here that it's for planned outage notice. So it should be prior, I would imagine, to it actually
correct.
taking place. So-
I think there's something here. I don't know if it's going to suffice for some of I think the concerns here, but we'll find out and we'll report back. Because I have a senior citizen that we take care of who has power needs. So I understand the severity of it and the concerns. So I message her. Anybody else? Oh, one last one though, because I have to move on.
Instead of just a notification, is there anywhere that they post the list of planned outages?
They're supposed to, if they are gonna take an outage, because
Doorknob.
we don't know what they have to take out. Because as long as they can work it safely, sometimes they don't even take an outage. Like I could look at your house and say, hey, they're gonna have to take an outage and it's gonna be an hour and a half. The lineman will go over there, because that's what they do, and they can look and say, hey, we can do that without interrupting the power at all. Or it'll be 5 minutes. But that's what I'm saying. They should give at least a 2 or 3 day
And
heads up.
I actually think they're supposed to put a physical door knocker on.
They're supposed to put either a door hanger or they'll print out a 8.5 by 11 sheet with that on there and put it out, so.
I would also add that it doesn't look like it mentions pre-planned, but there is a place that you can go, it's like tracker.centerpointenergy.com, map/map, whatever. You can go there and see exactly what the outages are. Now, it's probably not going to tell you the planned ones, but you can at least see, what the time frame is for it to get back on, so.
Again, last one, but I mean, serious, we got to move on. But go ahead.
we know ahead of time, let's say, let's say this work next Wednesday, 2 weeks after that, we need to get the city.
They usually do, but I guess it's with our own work, not with that, yeah. Let's find out what their policy is, we'll review it, we'll figure out, see what it is. Yep, okay. I do want to make a plug for these two gentlemen, though, that particularly in the last 2 years, you've done a really critical review of our assets in Nassau Bay, and have been doing some real upgrades. There was, events like in Bell Harbor, where we were kind of having weekly outages. There was just some real stress on some very old equipment, so I appreciate the focus that these two gentlemen, which is Paul and Kevin, in looking at upgrading that equipment in our city. So much appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And like I said, we'll work on the outage notification. I'll actually call the QA, so that way, like I said, he can get onto them before, and they'll know. Because I can't, with the weather, and it's not just the weather here. It's weather in different states, because we've signed the contract. If they need us, just like when we need them, they go. So we can say, oh yeah, it's gonna be next Wednesday. A storm hits Florida, and the next thing you know, hundreds of people or whatever are leaving here.
But I don't think the concern is being notified and then keeping the power on. It's not being notified and having the power go off.
No, I
Yep.
understand.
So,
No, I understand.
yep. Okay.
So I can look into that tomorrow, get with Paul too.
And what is your daughter's name?
Lacey.
Lacey, thank you for being so patient, Lacey. Any last questions from council? Thank you.
All right, yes, sir, thank
Yep.
you. Yes, sir.
Then moving on to the original council update, which is the 65 North Group presentation, the operational organization and staffing study and findings and recommendations. Just for the citizens, we had as part of our charter review, where we wanted to take 2 functional areas of the city every year and then have an outside group that would do a kind of a, what I call a cold eyes review in order to help us with best practices, benchmarking, and things along that line. As a 5,000 person city, we really don't have the resources to have all the things there, so this was a means by which to really evaluate it, provide it in a study, and then provide it to those functional heads. So 65 North was involved in reviewing our police department and our building department. And this year coming up, we're going to do our public works and HR. And that's now a charter responsibility. And with us, this is the first time we've had this happen, so.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to make it relatively short and sweet. I'm Dave Ross with 65th North Group. And before I start, I believe you all have the full study or have had an opportunity to look at it. You're obviously welcome to ask me anything once I get done with the presentation, but just so you know, if you have anything that, once you read it more fully, whatever the case is, and you just want to reach out, you're welcome to reach out anytime, and I'll be happy to talk to you about any of the results from it. So again, I'm Dave Ross with 65th North Group. We conducted an operational, organizational, and staffing study of the city's police department and buildings department. Now, one of the things we wanted to do, we wanted to make sure this was, as the city said, an independent, data-driven assessment of these departments. Looking at how are our operations, how is the organization itself, what are the staffing levels compared to workload demand, and how are we aligned with best practices right now. One of the methodologies we wanted to make sure that we employed, we wanted something that was very comprehensive, but not too time-consuming for any particular person in a department or for citizens for having them and giving them the opportunity to participate as well. So we have a lot of data we reviewed, both departments. We conducted interviews with almost all of the employees, the vast majority of them. And we wanted to make sure that employees and citizens had an opportunity to participate. So there was an anonymous stakeholder survey, both internal to the organization and citizen-facing one. So we'll talk about that in just a second. So the stakeholder surveys, the responses we received, I was very pleased with it. It was actually better than I thought we would get, just because surveys, it's difficult to get the word out sometimes. It's difficult to get people to want to participate. But we did. We had a pretty good response. So for the police department external survey, there were 144 responses that were received. The vast majority of those indicated they were residents of the city. I think over 80%. Or actually, no, that was for the buildings. For the PD one, it was almost everybody was a resident of the city. For the buildings, there were 104 responses. More people wanted to respond to the police department one, apparently. And for internal, there were 14 employees of the police department who responded. And even though you only have one building employee, there were 2 responses. We offered that to more than one, just to try to preserve a little anonymity as well. And for people who cover and help Cecily with, backup stuff too. The report, like I say, it's about 150 some pages, but there were 22 recommendations for the police department, of which we consider 4 to be a high priority. and 6 recommendations for the building department, of which 3 we consider to be a high priority. And something that I want to just share is that just because there's a recommendation does not mean anything's being done wrong. It's just opportunities to align with best practice in most cases. But again, it doesn't mean anything's being done wrong, but there are opportunities available for both of the departments. So the key results for the police department, based on the overall study, there is strong community trust and high officer morale in the department. That's something we don't always see in a lot of departments, so I was very pleased to see that. Folks are pleased with the equipment, and there is a very professional culture within the organization. There are some challenges, however. Facility limitations, obviously we're all aware, it's within this building. It's not a standalone facility, and as such, it's not designed as a police department, doesn't necessarily have the evidence room set up where we would like it. There's no real good patrol briefing. You know, there's several opportunities that you would get if you had a standalone facility. Accountability, consistency, there's some opportunities with that, and I'll talk about workload demand in a minute, but single officer coverage still happens at times. And from an officer safety perspective, you know, I spent 18 years in law enforcement. I was an officer, detective, homicide detective, patrol. One of my senior analysts who was out here with me, he spent 30 years in law enforcement, and we've done these studies all over the country as well. But I was also a city manager for 12 years. And from an officer safety perspective, you generally don't want one officer on. You never know what's going to happen. One of the nice things, at least about this area, is you've got a lot of other agencies around, and at least there's generally the opportunity to hopefully have somebody available to be able to respond if, in fact, something's needed. And even when you have 2 on at a time, you get 1 arrest while you're down to 1 person now anyway. So there's always that potential that that's going to happen. From the community survey results of the police department, residents overwhelmingly indicated that they felt safe and they view the department as professional and effective. There's always your outliers, and we saw those in both studies, where for whatever reason, you know, somebody is saying, no, we're not happy with this, and that's great. We want to hear that in the feedback, but from our perspective, when we're analyzing and looking at recommendations, we saw those as the outliers rather than what the vast majority of people responded by saying. The concerns that citizens mentioned, speeding enforcement, inconsistency with that, again, that's a perception. Party Cove issues, I don't even know where Party Cove is, but I read it a lot.
Hear noise.
Yeah. Night shift coverage when we're down to sometimes fewer than 2 officers, and the opportunity for communication just in general with the public and within the organization. So from a staffing analysis perspective, there's 15 authorized positions: chief, 2 sergeants, 2 corporals, 8 patrol, 1 detective, and 1 civilian. We generally want to see 2 officers on patrol at all times. And from looking at workload demand, staffing is appropriate where it's at right now. But it is going to be tight when we're looking at shift relief factor calculations. So those are generally a full-time employee, non-fire is going to be 2,080 hours in a year, give or take for the number of working hours. Shift relief factor is going to take that number down to account for your sick leave, your vacations, holidays, your training when it comes to police department, things like that. Generally, a good rule of thumb is right around 1,560 hours. So when you take the 12 employees who are in patrol, mind you, that includes the supervisors, your shift relief factor is right around just under 1.2, which is lower than we want to see it, which means there's always that potential that you're going to have overtime or times when there is one employee on at a time. That's something to be aware of. So high priority recommendations, 2 of them dealt with proactive GPS monitoring. You have GPS in your vehicles. This wouldn't be something that would be done all the time necessarily. What these recommendations with proactive GPS monitoring and deployment reviews, and then providing that information to the chief so he can make decisions on what to do, what this deals primarily with is you will periodically in a department have hotspots. You're going to have issues that arise, whatever that might be. It could be a vandalism area. It could be, a lot of concerns about speeding, whatever the case is. Because you have GPS in your cars, you have the ability to overlay any crime mapping, any calls for service, et cetera, with GPS data to know where the folks are. You do this retroactively, and if you see a lot of issues in this part of the town, and the vast majority of the officers are hanging out over here, doing whatever they're doing over here, that's an opportunity to reevaluate your patrol strategy. And right now, that's not being done. Again, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but this is an opportunity for certain situations where that can help improve management overview of what's going on. Strategic use of overtime, whereas we're not recommending any additional staffing, there is an opportunity to increase the overtime budget and have targeted overtime use, where whatever the hot topic is of the week or of the month, whether it's speeding, whether it's Party Cove, you name it. If you have a lot of graffiti going on, if you've got people hanging out at the park at 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever the case may be, you can have a targeted 4-hour, as an example, enforcement patrol where someone comes in on overtime and works that detail, and they're going to be responsible for dealing with whatever these issues are of the day. That is oftentimes a highly effective means to focus enforcement on whatever's important at the time, because that's going to change over time as well. And then facility security. You'll see in the report where we provided some high-level estimates on what a standalone facility would be, and I get it as much as anybody, especially coming from my city management background, that's going to be challenging, and I know that. But at least you have it. It's high level at this point. But one of the things, if it's at all possible, is to help secure that parking lot. In talking to the chief just before this meeting, didn't know this, apparently you don't own the parking lot. So it would, if you choose to adopt this recommendation, it would obviously also require some coordination and working with the owner of that, if that's something that you felt was important. But having that back parking lot secure for the officers and to have your patrol cars secure and where they park, where the officers park their own vehicles, it's important from a safety perspective. So your building department, there was strong citizen support for the city's buildings employee. We found that compliance with required permitting approval timelines, did a great job with that. Citizens noted some communication challenges. From what I could tell from reading the actual comments, is that these didn't deal as much with the city's employee, a little bit, but it was more with Safe Built and being able to get them to return calls and comments in a time frame that the citizens wanted to see. Some of it was with the city's employee, and that was more, obviously her role is not to understand the full thing of exactly the technical details of the approvals. And that's sometimes people are asking her that. She doesn't always know. She has to reach out. So I don't blame her in the least bit with what some of the comments were. But there were comments on it, so we're going to provide it here. Some residents and contractors felt there was opportunity to improve the city's permitting software. We agree. There's some great systems out there, but again, it's a cost factor as well. The city uses a different software system than Safe Built, so from a resident contractor perspective, that can provide some challenges and be frustrating as well. And people commented on that. 104 responses from the citizen survey. Again, 80%, this is where I got the 80% one, are residents of the city. But they also noted that they have used the city's permitting process fewer than 2 times in the last year, which I would generally expect. You probably really wouldn't have that unless you're a contractor who does a lot of work in town. You're probably not going to have a lot of stuff. There were concerns mentioned about difficulty finding information on the city's website, sometimes having those long wait times for approvals. Those were the outliers, however, and some technical issues just with the online systems that they noted. High priority recommendations for building, continuity planning. Having a dedicated backup with the capacity to be able to support your one building's employee is important. There is opportunity to streamline the master permitting process, and for quick approvals, a lot of cities are moving to instant approvals for the permit. As soon as you apply, you pay your fee, you get the permit right there. Doesn't mean the project's approved, but then you have to schedule your inspections and everything else. But it allows them to move forward in getting the contractors, depending on what the project is, of course. And these are for simpler things that a lot of cities see.
Is that part of your best-in-class software that you're talking about? And that's one, are they kind of bleed over there a little bit?
No, yeah, actually it can be. Now that permitting, the quick approvals and the permitting can be done depending on the ability of your particular software, or in this case, Safe Built software. It is possible that can be done without the best-in-class. Now, that transition to best-in-class software, that would be fantastic if you're able to do it. There's things that people can go online. It's a one-stop shop. You schedule all your inspections online. You can do it through a QR code on your phone. You can text inspections. You get automatic emails and texts when there's an update to your account. And right now, the city's software doesn't support that. And so there's opportunities with that. And when you read through the report, you'll be able to see some of the recommendations that were in there. And again, I think we just talked about this one, the software management system. Customer-facing tools, resident dashboards, automated email and text alerts, transparency. And this is something also for the council. If you have this, you'll be able to go online and see how many inspections are out there, what the average time is of them, a wide variety of things as well for council. Both departments, why these priority recommendations matter. They further strengthen the existing accountability and transparency that both departments have right now. This further strengthens that. It improves operational efficiency and service delivery. It can enhance community safety and trust, and it helps position the city for long-term stability as well. So next steps, implementation would be a great next step. As financially feasible, of course. And when you're evaluating potential changes to staffing levels, obviously this is based on historical and with a reasonable look forward as well. I know the city is pursuing and has sounds like some exciting opportunities with a new commercial development that may be coming in, which may also bring other stuff. And when that happens, not a bad time to take another look specifically for at least the police department to see if there's some opportunities with staffing and to further support that. But as of right now, our recommendations are staffing's appropriate. And with that, I will be happy to answer any questions right now, or again, you can reach out to me anytime.
Any questions, any comments?
So you say the police department staffing is appropriate at this time?
Right now, workload demand, average calls per day, per officer, it was like 2.7 or something like that. Your ICMA, International City County Management Association, rule of 60, one of the rules of 60 is you want no more than 60% of total officer time dedicated to citizen calls for service. You want the time to be able to do proactive response and traffic stops and et cetera, et cetera. Your 60%, you're at 31%. Plenty of capacity for doing those sorts of things. Now keep in mind, that's over an entire year. Certainly not every day is like that. You're going to experience times of very high workload demand and that continues on and on and on for sometimes it feels like for days. And then you're going to have a lower workload demand as well. But when you're looking at it in totality, yes, workload demand shows staffing is appropriate. However, I'm going to put a little asterisk next to that. When we're looking at staffing the police department for a minimum of 2 per shift. Right now, they work 4 10-hour shifts. They love it. I worked that in law enforcement. I loved it as well. There may be an opportunity to consider management of the starting times of those shifts. I think a tweak in that could help ensure 2 officer staffing more often. It may not happen all the time, but more often.
Okay, that's where I was not seeing how it was jiving, how you were saying that the staffing was fine, but you were also saying there are times when there's only 1 officer, and that's not ideal. So I was trying to figure out how.
It's how the staffing is scheduled right now. So there's some opportunities with scheduling that could help it. Keep in mind, though, that whereas some of the police department staffing, you're going to have 4 or 5 on at a time, certain times a day, that's also great to be able to have that because, come rush hour, you're going to have collisions that you're responding to, you're going to have other instances that you're going to respond to, and your 2 officers would get consumed quickly in a situation like that. Do you staff that way and have just 2 so you can have 2 between 3 and 7 a.m.? That's something you have to kind of weigh. But when you schedule it out, because we did internally, I didn't put it in the report, we did it internally, it can be done. It's just going to require, it's really 6 different starting times throughout the day, and some of them not at an hour you would generally want to start your shift at, midnight to 10 a.m. type of thing, and so it can be done. But when you're looking at it from an officer safety perspective, that's where you're much tighter on your current staffing capacity.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and so the scheduling, it seems to correlate, at least through the report, the heat map and the scheduling where there was less than 2, there may be like 2 or 3 like people calling in on a random, it's like a Monday, Tuesday.
It's understandable why it's scheduled the way it is. I
So
get
that's
it.
what my question, do you think that the scheduling correlates
It does.
well with the heat map?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. But again, to answer in a holistic fashion, workload demand, scheduling, or number of officers on patrol, no issue with that. Perfectly fine. From a minimum of 2, it gets squeezed really hard. But it's understandable why it's scheduled the way it is.
Any information you mentioned around like key performance indicators, data?
Oh, sure.
Things like
Yeah.
that? Can you kind of go
Yep.
into that a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go on memory on this. I have the report, but I'll just go on memory as best I can. There are opportunities. I see that the department, even from looking at the report from tonight, there were some KPIs, key performance indicators in there. There are definitely opportunities to enhance those, to provide a little more context behind some of the numbers that are there. And depending on what the situation is, sometimes probably isn't necessary. Other times, I'm sure the council would appreciate even more data. And we provide those specific key performance indicators that you may appreciate seeing or reading about a little more often. And these are things that, depending on what it is, there's even the opportunity for a public-facing dashboard with some of this. It's not confidential information. This is just numbers. And there's also opportunities, I think, relating to KPIs, again, that comes down to communication as well. Just making sure that the council, and more the manager, I understand the form of government, council manager form, but the reality is, communicating with everybody who's up here on the dais is also important. And I think there's some opportunities with that. But overall, if you want my perspective, I think the chief's doing a great job. I think the department itself is doing a really, really good job. You've got a lot of really great employees. And I would not just say that because we don't always see that. But this is a place that we've found that the officers take a lot of pride in being here. And you're going to have some who are little more gung-ho than others at times, just because it's the nature of the business, that they don't always have that opportunity here, because it's not as busy as it would be in downtown Houston. But in talking to even those officers, they also recognize this is a fantastic place to be, and they can still find ways to stay busy. And so they're really happy. So I was glad to see that. It's a lot of very positive morale here.
In your study of police departments in other areas, do you find that the police departments often have somebody that they designate for like community outreach, or, because I feel like, you know, the chief has mentioned that that's where he feels he's lacking a little bit, is he isn't able to really, because we're so tight in our numbers, and
Yep.
that he really doesn't feel like he can send an officer to go do an outreach thing or something like, you know?
You have limited capacity for that. There are times in which, well, to answer your question directly, yes, larger departments absolutely have community outreach officers, community relations officers, et cetera. I don't often see it in communities of this size. It doesn't mean it's not a good idea. It's a great idea if you can afford to do it and commit somebody to do that. I think it's a fantastic idea. And what it comes down to now is it would rest on the chief's shoulders to be able to do that, or assign an officer when you have those 4 or 5 on to be able to pull one of them to do that work. And or if you know you've got something or opportunity for these community engagements, you'd have to schedule an extra person on at that time to be able to do it, or know if you got the 4 or 5 on that you're going to pull one of them to be able to do it.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious about communities of this size, if you often see that.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're-
Really appreciate the time you personally put into this.
You're very welcome.
I think it's a value, and I was very taken back by how much feedback there was, both from internal police that they gave, as well as the citizens in their police department. And I think there's some really good gold nuggets in some of the comments, but it really affirmed a lot of what our police force is doing and how well they're doing.
Yep. I agree. Thank you. And again, please reach out anytime. Good. All right.
Next is the council update, a presentation by Ricotta regarding installation of security cameras at city parks and waterways. Okay.
Council, before he starts, me and Alex spent a lot of time together, and I told him some of the concerns that we've had over the last 15 years from David Braun Park, vandalism, the duck feeders, the truck, spinning out in the basketball court, the boat accident recently, and then also some of the things brought forward, Swan Lagoon Park. Sometimes they're, kids are out there late at night. Was very impressed by the equipment. I think I hit Alex with every scenario and pro and con, and just looking at everything that I think that council wanted. And we went probably back and forth probably 15, 20 times in the last 2 weeks. And then me and Alex physically walked every single park, looked at every angle, every traffic, every building, from people abandoning dogs and animals. And so I think you're going to be very impressed with the presentation from Alex.
Yep. Sorry about that, just pulling up the document now. Oh. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, we'll try it this way. Is it working? Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is, perfect. Well, again, thank you guys for allowing me to speak today and hearing our presentation that we have for you. As Paul kind of mentioned, we've been working on this tirelessly, walking those sites, making sure that all the scope has been identified, as well as, oh, it lost out again, and made sure that everything has full coverage. He's made myself aware, as well as our team, of some of the issues that have gone on before. The community has asked for this, as well as the council. Something needed to be done by this. So before you is a pamphlet that contains a proposal, just if you're not familiar with Verkada, a little bit about us, and then as well the presentation that I'm going over today. So reviewing, again, the agenda of what we do. Oh, this is not working. Okay. So again, going over some key contacts, so who to reach out to if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any information that you'd like to learn more about. Our partner Datavox is going to be doing the installation side of things, so some information about them. Why we're reviewing Verkada, the overview of the products and the deployment, and then a breakdown, so looking at the numbers, which I'm sure everyone cares about here. So again, looking at some key contacts. So there's myself. You can contact me by phone, my personal, my work cell, or as well my email. Again, we always answer to someone, so if you would like to reach out to my manager, he's from the Beaumont area. He's born and raised here, so he cares about the community a lot, especially Southeast Texas. So we want to do a great job of providing that security for y'all. And next is going to be Datavox out of Houston, the greater Houston area. They're located in Sam Houston. So if you have any questions on the installation side of things, feel free to contact them. So again, a quick overview of Datavox. They have been they've served about 7,000 customers in the Texas area. They have about 300 employees. So if you have any questions, a lot of people are going to be there to answer for you. As well, is it not working?
I think it's this.
Oh.
It's probably loose.
Okay. Well, I'll do my best to hold it down. I apologize again. But they are not just working on security. They also do everything coming to audio-visual, cloud solutions, security, building automation. They have a whole suite of things that work in what they do. Oh, now it went completely blank. However, they have all your IT needs. They are a full in-house suite.
So is Datavox owned Verkada, or?
So that's our partner that we work with. Yes, so we...
Yeah, Datavox has been around for quite a while.
Exactly. They're a family-owned business. They care about the Texas area, Southeast Texas. So we don't personally do our own installations. We're the manufacturer. So we provide the equipment while they do the installation side of things. So why we're looking at Verkada and why customers like Verkada, which is applicable potentially to Nassau Bay, is no on-prem servers to manage. So I know with IT upkeep, it can be a pain. And if you're not familiar with IT upkeep, it can be very expensive. So we eliminate that need by being a hybrid cloud solution. So no servers, no NVRs, DVRs, everything is easily plug and play. Let's see if that works. Oh, that one works. Teamwork makes the dream work. Perfect. So going back to it, access remotely from anywhere. So if you want to, if there's an incident going on in the parks and you need to let the patrol officers know, hey, here's what's going on in the park, I need 2 officers over here. You want to be able to look at that live because I'm sure the police department has multiple different protocols for different situations. So you want to be able to look at that in real time to know, how do I deal with the situation, what needs to be done, who's involved, kind of arm your officers for safety reasons, not only for the people, but for your officers as well. The smart aspect, automatic updates. So if there's anything you want to be notified on, Paul mentioned that there's been some incidents of maybe sex offenders being in the park or walking around the park when they're not supposed to be, or a truck that has done donuts in the in the basketball courts. I know that has been an issue. You're going to be able to get those proactive notifications via license plate recognition or license plate of interest or facial recognition. Since August 19th, that has officially been passed in Texas, so pleased to announce that as well. And then again, instant live share. So you want to arm your officers or first responders with as much information as possible. God forbid something happens in the parks. So being able to share that incident live with those first responders is a huge aspect. Again, unlimited archiving, so you're going to have that footage for any audit reports that you need indefinitely, and then a 10-year product warranty. 95% of the time, if something breaks, we're going to be able to fix it. However, if it's in that 5% range, someone tampered with it, we're going to go ahead and send you a new camera or a new device covered under that 10-year warranty.
And Alex, the children's faces are blurred out, correct?
Yes, sir. There is a face blur enabled, so for any liability reasons or reasons where you need to blur faces for if you're sending out any visuals, you're able to blur faces for those that are involved and just see the incidences. So potentially some challenges you may face is a decentralized system. So you want to be able to see your cameras across all your sites, not jump through many different hoops, many different systems. Everything is all centralized with us. So it's a single pane of glass. You open up your phone, your laptop, anything you may need, or your browser, and you're going to see all your products across all your sites, or all your parks, for example, so all 4. And again, with any issues with incidences, that's been an occurrence. However, with our fast response times and live notifications, it's going to turn hours of investigative work and hours of scrubbing through footage into mere seconds, minutes, to go through that footage and analyze. Then again, lack of support. That's a huge thing cities like to look for, is they don't want any downtime when making a security investment. So with us, we have a 10-year product warranty, as well as eliminating the need for ongoing maintenance fees or costs, because it's already baked in to our business model. So overview of products. So again, everything is all weather rated. We have our CB 52s and 62s, which are our bullet cameras. That's great for exterior cameras. Our license plate recognition, with license plate recognition, it's different from the flock system to where it just captures the license plate. It actually takes video evidence as well, so you can see the actual make, model, description of the car. So you're able to get that aspect out of these bullet cameras as well. Next, we have the Gateway series. So this is how we get connectivity out there to these cameras. This is a big aspect because with the cameras.
Before you move on, you mentioned about blue lens. What is how powerful is that?
Yep, so that zoom, this camera is more digital zoom, so you're able to just zoom in on the frame. However, we have a camera that is built into this that has the visibility to zoom. I think it's
on a phone, or you have to digitally
digitally enlarged. However, one of the cameras that we have on here, you're able to actually zoom in. And that's one of the things that I'm going to show is kind of a live demonstration of how that looks in this camera. So quickly going into the Gateway, this is also another product that provides connectivity to these cameras. How it works, use any power source, connect via LTE, so it connects off those cell towers, and you plug into any Verkada camera, easy as that, and now your cameras have power and connection. Again, going over total cost of ownership, so no hidden fees and predictable renewals. Everything is on a 10-year warranty as well. So typically with software or any hardware, like I said, servers, NVRs, DVRs, labor costs to then, again, have someone come out and reinstall or put the products up again, we eliminate that need. So I'm sure when you hear like a license term, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a recurring fee. However, ours is different because we understand with cities that there is tax dollars involved, and we want to make sure we're using that correctly. And with finance, one thing you want to be sure is everything is transparent, and that's how we like to operate things. So that license that we do is not actually typically a license or what we like to call it. We like to call it everything built in. So all your ongoing maintenance fees, costs are just built into that. So that way, there's no down the line, come year two, everything goes out and you have to replace anything, and now you get a big bill that's unexpected and not budgeted for. We have everything baked in, so that includes the 10-year warranty, everything all in. So that way you know exactly what you're getting, and renewals, you know exactly what you're paying, and there's no surprises. That's how we like to operate business, and that's how cities like to operate business. So want to make sure that we do that. Again, best-in-class support for anything that goes wrong. And then again, automatic updates as well. So similar to your iPhone or your smartphone, it automatically updates and gets better, it gets smarter. That's exactly what our cameras do. So, or similar to Tesla, how they come out with updates over the air. We do the same thing, and that comes in with the price. So you're getting those updates, your cameras are getting better, you have no maintenance fees, everything is all predictable for cities. So they know exactly what they're budgeting for and what they're allotting, so that way they're not just waiting for a big bill to hit that's unexpected. So the deployment overview, let me go here and share this. You guys able to see that all right? Let me zoom in. Oh. Just trying to connect to Wi-Fi. So if you're able to see this, all right, what we have here is a gateway and 2 cameras. So what this is looking at is down the, Howard Ward Park, outside on the left-hand, or the upper circle. So you're seeing anyone coming in that way. And then this camera is a dual sensor, so it's covering the park and anyone trying to enter through this streetway. Next, we have another camera, or 2 cameras in a gateway that's covering the right-hand side over here, covering that side of the park and entrance, and then this covering the gazebos, both there, and anyone trying to enter from that side. Any questions on the deployment there?
This is your recommendation, or this is just an example?
This is based on the conducted site walk that we did with Paul and DataVox, so we want to make sure we had everything covered and to your liking.
Down on the right-hand corner, Alex.
Mm-hmm. Down on the right. That garden?
Maybe we can add that.
Yes, yeah. So when we took a look, we were looking at best options. So for that, we're going to add something there, and I believe we discussed that this morning.
So this isn't a fight, this is just showing your, so we wanted to make that a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, we're scalable.
I know there's been comments from the Parks and Recreation,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if that's something that you'd like to implement.
And say you did this type of setup, would you be able to change, is it easy to change the direction in which the cameras point?
Yeah, absolutely. So if when you go to install them, that's what the DataVox team is going to do, is they're going to install everything and say, hey, this is how it's going to look. Does everything look good to you? Or do you want to move it slightly this way? Or would you like to move the camera up? The cameras are easily manuable to change. 2 years later, yeah, you could throw someone up there, have them undo it, move it down. Yes, very easy to change. Just, getting someone up there, totally fine. So again, this is Swan Lagoon, smaller park. However, there are some areas, I believe that there was that donation book box. Some people have been kind of doing some tomfoolery there, if you will, with that. So want to make sure that that was covered in that gazebo. Well, both of them, and then as well covering the park there. So with these 2 cameras, we're able to get full coverage of this park. Next, we have the Founders Park, which was my favorite to go see. It was a beautiful park. It was very nice. It was like, oh, I should come here on my wedding day. So for this, since it was very open when you were looking at a camera aerial view, only 1 camera was needed. You're able to see all that goes on within, as well anyone leading down to the dock. So if fishing is prohibited there, or you're looking at someone, again, doing something they're not supposed to, you're going to be able to catch that with this camera view. And then the next was my favorite one to kind of dissect and go through was David Braun, and that was the main concern that we were talking about here. So for here, we have a number of different cameras. Again, one bullet camera, a telephoto zoom lens. So what this does is going to look at any cars or people tracking down this road from Lake Nassau, and then this parking lot as well. So we're going to be able to catch that. Again, we have a camera over here that is looking at the other parking lot right in front of the basketball court, as well looking at the feeding area. I've heard that there was some vandalism, Paul had mentioned, with those feeders, so we want to make sure we get coverage there. So twice that happened. We want to make sure that those are covered because obviously damages kind of rack up, and replacing those, you want to make sure that those are keeping intact. Next is going to be a couple cameras looking at the playground and the basketball court itself. Like I mentioned again, incidences of people doing donuts on the basketball court, or just, again, doing stuff that they're not supposed to. We want to make sure that you get visualization of those as well. And then we have one camera over here by the water treatment plant that is looking at the center circle and anyone trying to exit from the left-hand side of the park. This is the main purpose also for the animal shelter. Paul had mentioned some instances where people are just dropping off animals, and they want to make sure that they are prosecuted correctly for their actions. So we want to make sure that we're tracking that down with LPR again, facial recognition, or with vehicle attributes. Next, we have a camera on the left side covering that left-hand side of the park, and anyone coming in from that treatment plant. Now, this camera is our PTZ camera. This camera is a 360-degree, 220 tilt zoom camera. It's going to stretch out and cover this entire area that you can monitor. It's also motion tracking. I believe that there was a curfew on this park specifically, so if you want to throw this into sentry mode, what that...
Curfew is a bad word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our chief likes to say it's closed.
Okay. Well, this area is closed, so if you want to put this camera in sentry mode, what that does is any motion that's going on after hours, it's going to pick it up and record automatically. So you can put this up, and I've heard, you obviously want to make sure that it covers the canal area from instances of, drinking and boating. I've heard that was an incident that occurred, so we want to make sure that we had a camera that was capable of zooming in on any incidences there, or people driving their truck right up to go fish out there. And this is the one camera that I'd like to demonstrate in front of you guys real briefly to show you the true capabilities of it. But now going into the part that I'm sure you're all waiting for and caring about is the pricing. So looking at each park, this pricing includes a breakdown of each park, as well is baked in with installation, configuration, making sure that everything is all up to standards, everyone is onboarded who needs access to these cameras, the hardware, and the licensing. This is for a 3-year cost, and again, this 3-year license is including automatic software updates. So if down the line we come out with something new, say gun detection, again, that's a hypothetical, I'm not promising that, but say that does come down, you're able to get that free as a Verkada customer because you are, and we get to push out automatic updates. Again, as well, any maintenance fees, ongoing costs, anything, that's already baked into the pricing that you see here.
Let me make sure I understood you correctly.
Yes, sir.
You said a 3-year.
Yes.
So you have 71,896
Mhm.
cost.
Mhm.
Is that per year over 3 years, or is that the total amount over?
That's the total amount, and what we do is we make it transparent, so this covers you for 3 years.
$25,000 a year.
And that gets into my next breakdown on the following page.
Small bit.
Yes. So you are looking at approximately 48 devices and licenses. So looking at on a cost per item is about $500 per item per year.
Let me make sure. The number of devices that you're talking about in that total, is that only for these 4 parks and configuration you have? Or is that also include some of the areas in the waterways?
So the waterways we haven't discussed yet, that's following this meeting.
Yeah, but I get that, but I'm just making sure what's interactive.
Mhm.
But it's $500, that's
Yes. Yes, so, once we, make our edits following this meeting, we'll, obviously discuss. But looking at the cost of license and device, about 500. Now, if you're going to look at that monthly, it's $41.61 per device or per license per month over the next 3 years. However, you're not worrying about that for 3 years. This 71,000 covers you for 3 years, and you don't have to worry about a thing again. Because any support or anything that you may need, you give me a call or you contact our support. We have about 500 engineers, and we'll get you put in touch.
What if somebody vandalizes?
Yep, so we also have tampering notifications on. I think the threshold is about 10 pounds. Paul and I talked about that. So if someone tries to rip off that camera, one, you're going to get a notification, and two, it's not just going to be a notification of, oh, the wind's blowing. It's through a certain pound threshold. And I believe with tampering, it's covered under that 10-year warranty.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, and I'll confirm with that for you, sir.
I have a question about
Yes, ma'am.
the exclusions. So there's, I don't know why mine's so ugly, cellular car.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that mean the city, for each of those green circles, would have to subscribe to a cellular service in addition to these costs?
So yes, there is the SIM cards that I talked about with Paul. Typically through cities that we work with and do this for, Texas City, for example, you typically get a discount on the data plans and such. And being transparent, it's a lot cheaper to go through, your current provider versus, ours. We have our own that partners with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And haven't done the math or numbers on, I believe it's 10 SIM cards, but I can do the math and, let you know. But yes, it would be, your SIM card and plan.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Alex, can you talk about the smart search? Like, say if someone did something in the park and has a red cap?
Yes. So the one thing I would ask is connecting to the Wi-Fi so that way I can access the feeds, and I can show you all this.
This is the demonstration.
Yes, sir. Yes. Or actually, I can do this. I can go to mine. I just remembered I got this. Okay. Let's turn this on. Perfect. All right. Can everyone see this all right? All right, perfect. So this is the demonstration we have. This is what our command center looks like. You have all your products here, so we're not just a camera company. We also do access control, air quality sensors for like IDF closets, alarm systems, intercoms, guest management, gateways. We have a whole abundance. So this is what your feeds would look like. I can access my cameras from virtually anywhere. This one I'm viewing from halfway across the country. If I want to view my sites more in depth, I can go down here and scrub through all my different sites. So if I want to look at the Phoenix office, for example, I can go ahead and look at that, really beautiful view tonight in Phoenix, but I'm able to do so.
It's similar to like the DOT cameras for traffic in a variety of different municipalities throughout the, that they actually have the access to be able to see multiple access for any individual camera.
So like the government having access to your cameras?
No, like saying that if they provided portals for people, if the things I've seen is cameras on top of lighting across major highways so you can see, whether there's an accident occurred, reporting, traffic reporting, things along that line.
It's similar in a sense. So if you want to throw a camera in an intersection and view it that way, looking at, any accidents or looking at people trying to run red lights or, license plate recognition, that's definitely a use that we do. However, it's not through like DOT, for example. But we do work with government officials. Actually, Nassau is one of our customers. Found that out a few weeks ago. But yes, so we do work with government agencies. Just it would be a standalone system. So looking into, Paul's question, we have our, live view here. I can see all motion going through. If I want to scrub through some history, I can do it in, mere seconds. So these blue tick marks are little events. So if I knew something happened at this time, 2:55, I can go ahead and look briefly and see what was actually occurred. Okay, this is the person that I'm investigating for whatever reason. I can easily clip it and send it out to whatever. Add a couple notes. This person was, caught vandalizing, and send it out to chief or whoever's on patrol that day. And you're able to save that and archive that immediately. But what he was talking about was our people analytics. So if I want to go through and search for a specific person, so say this guy, I want to go ahead and see where exactly he's been. I can go ahead and look through the feeds, see, okay, I know exactly what he's wearing, but in the direction that he's heading, but let's see where all he's been across my parks. I can go ahead and review and search back and see where he has been across all my sites. So kind of like a facial recognition tracking mechanism. And you can do the same thing for vehicles. So if that truck or car ever shows up again on that basketball court, you can go ahead and reverse search and be able to find out where they came from and where they headed to deploy, first responders. But if I want to get really granular, I could pick a certain date, gender appearance, they appeared male, and they were wearing a red shirt. Now I can go through and see everyone with a red shirt and narrow down my search based on the description. Now, if I want to go ahead and just type in black truck and black rims. It's based on common language, not like an automated drop-down system. So if I want to look up that black truck with black rims who was going around search or doing donuts, I can go ahead and say, okay, perfect. That's the black truck that I'm looking for. I want to go ahead and mark this as a person or a vehicle of interest, if you will. So I can go through here. It's kind of bunched up. But I can mark them through license plate of interest once I get to vehicles. So that thing that I was talking about, tampering, we can go through here.
Before you go on, if you have that vehicle identification, and one of the things you like about Flock is that it integrates with other systems, that if they were something that we have in the drawing that's occurred off-site, but yet does that integrate with other systems to be able to say where they may be?
So it doesn't, however, it doesn't integrate with the, other flock cameras or other agencies. However, what it does is actually give you context of where they are and where they're heading, so to keep things internally. But the difference between us and Flock is we actually provide, evident or visual evidence. So I could see from here the license plates, as well as, say I want to look at this car. Okay, I can see from here, this car is, the one I'm looking for. It was a, white, I think it was a Hyundai or Toyota. I can go ahead and see the actual camera so I know exactly what I'm looking for. Because a lot of times with criminals, they are now replacing the license plates with stolen vehicles. So, you have a vehicle or a license plate that may not match the description of the car. So what we like to do is actually zoom out and provide a visual evidence. So that way you have the license plate and a video of the car, so that way you can cross-reference. So if the police or patrol is looking at the car and, looking it up based on either the VIN number or, the actual license plate, they can see if it's actually a match, and because they have the visual evidence.
So just kind of to go off of what Phil was talking about, so with Flock, it's integrated with different systems.
Yes.
But in your documentation that you submitted to us, it says that there's priority police response video verified alarms. Is that real-time alarms, and how does that get sent to an officer? Is it like through their, laptop, or how do they get notified of these visuals?
So I believe that is through Axon, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's in our Axon description. That is one thing that we have been working on more in touch, and I can bring my solutions engineer, and he'll have a better response than I can of how it actually integrates, because we just did some updates. So I can discuss with him and see how it actually brings in, but I'm pretty sure what it does is any feeds or anything brings on to the Axon platform. So you have not only, visuals from the Axon, cameras itself, but also to the platform that they have. So it kind of integrates with them.
So there would potentially be some real-time integration with the officers being notified, like, hey, there's a black truck with black rims, and it's over off of, Nassau Bay Drive, and maybe they're on the other side of the town, and they can respond.
Yes, so
Would that be how it would work, Chief, or are you aware of any of this, or? No? Okay. Okay.
yeah, so I believe that that's a,
Systems in the vehicle are access.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. So the images you showed us that were at night, it seemed like that was like in a well-lit area. I'm assuming that the area needs to be fairly well-lit for the the camera imagery is very clear. I'm very impressed by that. But I'm wondering about, like, in parts of our park really needs better lighting, in my opinion. And does it have like some sort of night vision abilities?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
can you show me an example on your thing of like something at night?
Philadelphia right now.
Yeah.
absolutely. So let me go ahead and take a look at somewhere where it's pretty dark. This is a completely pitch black room right now, for example. So this is one of the cameras that we have in our delivery room. That's offline right now because it's 7 o'clock, the office is closed, and it's pitch black in there. Just for an example, but I know you're wanting to see something where, yeah, so let's choose this one. So if I want to go through and check the history, let's look at right over here. So again, this is zoomed out in a place where it's not very well lit, but I'm able to see cars, patrol officers over here. I'm able to see what's going on. Now, if I want to look at the zoomed in imagery, that's the zoomed out. Oh. The zoomed in looks like this. So this is at 3 a.m. I'm able to read, this, which is a block away. So any license plates, so this isn't one of our license plate cameras, so this one wouldn't pick it up per se. However, if we were to put a license plate there, I'm sure it would be able to pick it up. But the cool thing about this one too is, say I want to track this car, you could do what I showed you with the person and pick up where this car has been across all your cameras throughout the city, or, for example, the park.
And my other question is, you might have already answered this, but what kind of storage, what are we talking about? How long is this, is there endless storage, or like how far back can we go? Say something happens, we don't know about it until 24 days later.
Yep, so you have, our base model is 30 days of retention, and that's typically standard oriented. When you get to, government jails that we work with, it's typically 60 or 90, usually 90. So we offer up to, anywhere from 30 days of retention to 365 days of retention.
So that's depending on our cost desires?
Yes. Yeah, so there's a cost adjustment there. However, you're able to go back up to 30 days. However, if that needs to be altered, more than happy to work with you on that. But in terms of saved footage, you have unlimited save archiving, one of the things that, is an added bonus.
No, 30 days is significant.
Saved archive, so what that means is just saving a footage and putting it in your archive section, so.
Like on our own laptop or computer?
Yep, so, no, so it's through our archive section here, so this is all the footage that, me personally or anyone in my organization has saved. And the best thing too is if you want to actually download this, you can download it to your laptop, you can send it to anyone. So if I want to send this to, say yourself, I could type in a phone or an email and text you, and it could be the archive only, and you could have access to it for an hour. I could also change it to, a day or weeks that you have access to this footage. So it's all customization, that you can have it, that you can send it. So no need for downloading it on an MP or, a flash drive, handing it to someone, just having a lot of security breaches. You're able to send this or share this from anywhere within your org. And then the last thing I wanted to show that Paul had mentioned that you'd like to see is the zoom capability of that PTZ camera that we have. So for 1 second, I apologize. I'm just looking for it now. Where was that PTZ? Okay, perfect. So here is our PTZ camera. Right now it's in sentry mode, so what that means is it's tracking motion. Well, it's loading. But let me take this off for a second. And tracking motion, but let me zoom out all the way. So this is where this camera is located right now. What I'm going to do is go ahead a couple blocks away and pick out a license plate. So let's zoom all the way down. Let's get this a little bit more accurate. There we go. And let's pick out a license plate. So that white van, let's go ahead and see. Hold, sir, please don't go for the light. And if I can read that correctly, that says 93783N2. I don't have my glasses, but I believe that's what it says. So that's from about 2 blocks away. And then if I want to put this again in sentry mode, I put this on, and now it's able to track motion again. So whipping around, tracking people, from all over. So, and that nights where the park is closed, you're able to track, whoever's violating those.
And then Alex, some of the cities close by that y'all have done work at?
Yep, so on the final page of the proposal packet, not the slide deck, but the proposal packet, you'll see 5 references that are close by. I believe I put Harris County, City of Sugar Land, City of Alvin, Nassau, and Texas City were the 5 that I had selected that were close by. We also work with Pasadena as well, Galveston County. We work with a lot in the greater Houston area or Southeast Texas. Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
One last thing for me is what we're doing now is we're doing a pilot program. So we'll be putting the cameras at David Brown Park, and then we'll be looking at everything that council have seen. We'll be able to play with it and make sure everything is what, if something that we want to do.
From a waterway standpoint, you're looking at the finger piers.
The finger piers and then Sea Cove at the end on the lift station.
You need power.
Yeah, so both of those would have power. So I got with Alex, so I'll just sit him the area, and then we'll have David Bone Park and then the 2 waterways.
Yep, so we'll able to, test this in your own environment, ask Paul, for any of the footage, actually put it to the test and make sure it's a good fit, because that's the best way to know if the system is right for you. And if you have any questions, my contact card is in there. Feel free to reach out with me with, hey, how do I do this? And I'm more than happy to walk you through it.
And that will go to like Axon devices or even just somebody's personal phone.
So if you'd like that to integrate, I'd have to talk with my engineer on how that works, just because since this is a trial program, he would have.
I'm planning on, say we sign up, you'll be able to have access on a cell phone.
Yes, sir. It would just be downloading the app and you'll be able to review it while you're sitting in bed right before, nighttime.
Like anyone, any citizen? Oh, okay.
Yeah, control.
And one more question. Do you have insurance that you, or are we expected to insure, I guess, we get some, well, there's a warranty, okay, but what about for weather-related events? What do you guys do in that scenario?
So for weather-related events, this is, yes.
Yeah, we get some bad weather around here sometimes.
Working in Southeast Texas, I'm, definitely aware. So our cameras are IP rated, so they are, waterproof as well as dust resistant. So as long as it's not human error, as they call it, of the installation, then you're covered under the 10-year warranty. So, you know, if,
Even for acts of God.
So even for 150 mile per hour winds or whatever?
pretty sure that, you know,
Just
acts of
asking.
God will have, we have you covered.
Let's test that.
Mhm.
We have a Category 4
Mhm.
hurricane come through
Mhm.
here, and it can send projectiles at over 100 miles per hour.
Mhm.
And a 2x4 of 10 feet in length come and hit it.
Mhm.
Knocks it. I would assume that's going to do some pretty good damage.
Yeah.
That's covered under the insurance.
Under the warranty, you know, with a projectile flying right at it, I would need to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure, yes.
I'd like
yes.
to, I'd like to read your warranty.
Yes,
She's our lawyer.
I'm pretty sure it's covered, but obviously I want to make sure I'm giving the, you know, the things correct. So if an object flies during a Category 4, you know, I want you to be covered,
Those
so.
happen here.
Yes, absolutely.
Those happen.
So I will double check and make sure that that's covered and, you know, report back to Paul.
And then I'll be reaching out to Texas City to see how they like their cameras, and then we'll hopefully can look at the pilot program for 30 days and check it out, and, yep. Okay.
Any other questions I could answer?
Chief, you got anything that comes to mind? You or Tom, because I know Tom's IT and,
Not right off. A lot of what else is showing you sort of what block is available out there. I don't know if they can zoom like that. They have a Sentry mode on person's events. So I'd like to see if you have another package that I can look at to compare what we have.
Yeah, I have another packet in my bag. I brought 10, so I have one for you.
and Chief, I knew you was going to ask that. So they're going to put a camera right under flock, so we can compare.
What we have right now with clock is not the same.
Okay.
We don't have live camera.
Okay.
We have LPR camera. Yeah, correct. That's what I was understood, that the cost of the other way was. Yeah, the presentation did, they commented that or something like that for the live condor cameras that clock has. LPR cameras that go over has. But a lot of what we're seeing here is available on clock. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Tom, anything from IT you can think of? Okay. All right.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Just to mention the IP stuff, so it doesn't like slow anything down, right? It's all off-site? I think if let me go back and check real quick.
If, slow what down exactly?
Give me 1 second.
Are you talking about bandwidth?
Yeah, I think it was, God, it's gonna, sorry. Can't find it now. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, yeah, it says won't clog your network like other IP cameras. So how does it not clog the network? Is it just like, is it all off?
So,
offsite?
yes, since it's a hybrid cloud solution, it's not fully cloud, it's not clogging up your bandwidth, because we only operate at 20 to 30 kilobits per second. However, with the hybrid cloud aspect, what it does is it actually stores footage or data locally on the camera, and then the cloud aspect is anything that you want to save in your archive section, and then obviously those continuous updates that you get. So your camera's getting better and such, like with your smartphone, that's where the cloud comes in. So it's kind of like an on-prem and cloud-based system, if you're familiar. Yes, so that's how it doesn't clog your network as much. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. So look, I'm gonna press this a little bit. Some of this is housekeeping, some of it's not. But I mean, it's 9:25, and we still have a lot of bumpers. But moving on, this is consideration and possible action of the second and final reading resolution number 2025-0811-1, a resolution of the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas, approving the Nassau Bay outdoor renovations project that was agreed under EPC resolution number 2025-07-38-1 in accordance with local government code section 55-1. I think everybody knows
Okay, well, then I would move to approve resolution number 2025-0811-1. Yes, goodness. A resolution of the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas, approving the Nassau Bay Yacht Club renovations project that was created under EDC Resolution Number 2025-07-28-1 in accordance with the local government code section 505.158.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Any further questions or comments? Then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 5-0, one abstention. Great. Moving on, consideration of possible action of the second and final reading, resolution number 2025-0811-2, the resolution of the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas, approving the expansion of mental and emotional services in Nassau Bay, Texas, project that was created under EDC resolution number 2025-07-28-2, in accordance with local government code sections 505, 5. Again, all the way to then I'd like to call for a motion.
Move to approve resolution number 2025-0811-2, a resolution of the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas, approving the expansion of mental and emotional services in Nassau Bay, Texas, project that was created under EDC Resolution Number 2025-07-28-2 in accordance with the local government code section 505.158.
Do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. Any other further questions? I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Moving on to new business. Number one, consideration of possible action. This is the first and only reading of ordinance number 2025-0915-1, an apportionment ordinance of the City of Nassau Bay adopting a budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, for fiscal year 2025-26.
Okay, Mayor, I'll just give a brief overview of the 25-26 proposed budget, since it's getting late. So the total budget for FY 25-26 is going to be 18.5. The two largest funds are the general fund and the water sewer fund. The largest source of revenue, of course, will be property taxes, utility fees, and sales tax. And the rest of those items make up 85% of our revenue. The rest is made up of municipal court fines, transfers from other funds, interest revenue, special revenue, miscellaneous revenue. And just to let everyone know in the audience that the water sewer rates will remain the same for this fiscal year. Okay? And for the proposed property tax, we'll be proposing the same tax rate as last year, which is .670499. And on the next page is our historical tax rates. So this year's proposed rate is a lot lower compared to the rates that we had from 2016 to about 2019. At that point in time, we were charging about 74 cents, and we're right now at 67 cents. For reserves, so right now we're projecting to have 2.1 million in reserves in the general fund. Per the charter, we're required to have a 90-day reserve. That 90-day reserve requirement is 1.8 million, so that gives us excess reserves of about 316,000, and 300,000 of that is for the ladder truck or emergency use only. So that leaves us with about 16,000 in excess reserves, and we already have built in 570,000 in capital items along with one-time expenditures. Okay. All right, so I'll go over. I'll just go over the critical projects and things that you guys decided to fund this year. So for downstairs, we had to set aside $73,000 for construction allowance for the conference center. That was per the new contract. On the water sewer side, new projects of $385,000. That's for the southeast water plant, water ground storage tank painting, the backhoe Kubota, and we'll begin the process of the water meter replacement and automation. And then we have $30,000 for joint sealing for our streets. And then, of course, we'll be carrying over about $2.4 million in projects, and most of that is related to the water line project and the water tower painting, along with the certificate of obligations for 2021. We're still working on the stormwater projects, along with the sewer lift station generator, And we're also still working on the live streaming equipment project. And of course, the paving project, that'll get underway here soon, I think in October or November, Paul? Okay. All right. On the public safety side, council decided to fund the public safety radios. We decided to do $314,000. So this is year 3 of this project. We have one more year. I think we have about maybe a little bit over 100,000 left to go on the radios. We set some money aside for the park cameras, bunker gear, and we decided to increase the pay rate for EMS from $25 to $28. We're a little behind competitive-wise. I think right now we're at 25. I think the mid-range is around 27. The max is about 35. So we decided to go with 28 because most of our paramedics have 10 years plus experience. Okay? And then we also increased PD's pay rate by 2%. And then in addition, we're going to be replacing all weekend temporary EMS paramedics with 2 full-time paramedics. Okay? And that'll help with staffing stability, and we'll also have coverage during emergency, when we have emergency events. And then in addition, staff will work with the city's financial advisor to plan and execute the funding for the ladder and pumper trucks. That's totaling 3.9. So January 2027 is when we're expecting the ladder truck, and then the pumper truck, that looks like 2030, if I'm not mistaken, because that's got a 4 or 5 year delivery time. Moving on to beautification, the EDC is going to assist with the 4th tranche of Medjool Palms. And the city is going to be funding the entrance end caps. We're going to beautify the end caps at Nassau Bay, Point Lookout, and Upper Bay. That's about a $60,000 one-time expenditure. But along with that, you'll have a $36,000 annual maintenance for those end caps. So that'll impact the operating budget. And we'll also acquire 6 astronaut moles for $25,000, and that's just to continue paying homage to our space heritage and our future. And then we'll spend the remaining $55,000 of David Braun Park money on the tennis court shade cover and adult exercise equipment. And finally, on the EDC front, the reserves are strong. We'll continue to use those reserves for any opportunities that come up. And of course, with all the infrastructure improvements and public safety investments, you know, that'll create a favorable business environment. And then on the debt service front, we'll be paying about 1.7 in principal and interest payments. The funding sources is property taxes, the redevelopment authority, utility fees, the lease revenue from the conference center, and the Nassau Area Management District all help us out with the paying that principal and interest. All right, and then on the tourism, we'll be doing about 115 in donations. We received about 199,000 in requests, so 84,000 was not funded. And that's to help us build up our excess reserves in the tourism fund, and we're projected to have 324,000 at the end of fiscal year 2026. In the special revenue fund, we have money built in there for the elevation program. We're expected to spend the remaining 1.6 advance that we have for 10 homes. And on the animal control front, we still have a remaining balance of 251,000 for that animal control donation. So I budgeted 200,000 for any animal shelter improvements or needs that they may have. And then right now we have about 55 full-time equivalent positions, and this includes the 2 full-time paramedic positions. On the salaries and benefits, we're seeing an increase of about 4% compared to the last budget. And that's just related to the 3% merit for all departments except EMS and PD. Replacing weekend temporary paramedics with 2 full-time paramedics. The 2% wage increase for PD, along with their 3% STEP program. And then a $3 EMS pay rate increase. There was no increase on the health insurance rates. And then we had a 3% increase on the pension contribution rate. And then on the M&O side, we're looking at about a 6.5% increase compared to last year's budget, and that's related to the entrance caps, the increase in the PD annual contract, the annual maintenance for the entrance end caps. That's what's driving that percentage increase. And then the last thing I'd like to discuss is the water and sewer fund budget reserves. We're looking at 3.8 million in reserves. Of that, 2.6 is restricted, so that gives us about 1.2 in excess reserves. That's 125 days of excess reserves that we can use for future CIP items. Okay? And what's next? Hopefully tonight we'll adopt the budget. We'll accept all truth and taxation items. We'll approve the proposed rates. If we do not, then we have till September 19th to approve the budget. If not, this year's budget will roll over until next year. And on September 29th, I'm hoping to have the public hearing and adopt the tax rate, and then be done with this budget. That's it.
Well done.
All right, thank you.
And I'd like to move forward. If there's no other questions, I'd like to entertain a motion for the first agenda item.
Yeah, must be a record vote.
Yeah, let's do this by roll call.
But so you'd still need a motion for it though, right?
Yeah, you need a motion.
I need a motion and a
Yeah.
second in order to do a roll call.
Yeah, I move to approve ordinance number 2025-0915-1, an appropriation ordinance of the City of Nassau Bay adopting a budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026 for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. And any further comments, any further questions? Then I'm going to call for the roll call vote. And I guess I'll start. I'll say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passes 6-0.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to the second consideration of possible action to ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the fiscal year 2026 budget as required by sections 102-007C of the Texas Local Government Code. This budget will raise more revenue from the property taxes in last year's budget by an amount of $115,933, which is a 2.59% increase from last year's budget. Property tax revenue raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $37,620, and this needs to be recorded vote. Any questions here for Jaime before we pass the motion? Then I ask for a motion.
I move to approve, or I'm sorry, I move to ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the fiscal year 2026 budget as required by section 102.007C of the Texas Local Government Code. This budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $115,933, which is a 2.59% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $37,620.
Do I hear a second? Second by Sarah. Then any last comments before I call for the roll call, the record vote? Then I'm calling for the vote. I'll start. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Passes 6-0.
Okay.
Moving on to agenda item number 3, consideration of possible action, acceptance of certified tax roll for tax year 2025, acknowledgement of tax rates, and acknowledgement of the tax rate calculation worksheet. You already gone over those?
Yes, so I'll just go over it real quick. So just acknowledging the tax rate, that you're acknowledging the no new revenue tax rate, which is .658687, and you're also acknowledging the voter approval tax rate for tax year 25, which is .711336.
In fact, go to taxpayer income statement, beginning of the thing that would outline specifically, right?
Yes.
Any questions? Then I'll call for a motion.
I move to accept the certified tax roll for tax year 2025, acknowledgement of tax rates and acknowledgement of tax rate calculation worksheet.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Any further questions? This is not a record vote, so I will just call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Item 4, consideration of possible action, proposed property tax rate of 0.670449 for the 2025 tax year, or exceeds the no new revenue tax rate. Public hearing for the proposed tax rate has been set for September 29th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at Nassau Bay City Hall. So we need a recorded vote here, but any questions? Then I need a motion.
Let's see, I move to, oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I move to propose a property tax rate of 0.670499 cents for the 2025 tax year, which exceeds the no new revenue tax rate. The public hearing on the proposed tax rate has been set for September 29th, 2025, at 7 p.m. at Nassau Bay City Hall.
Do I have a second? Second by Ashley. Any further comments before I get a record vote?
I mean, it is cents technically, but
Yep.
dollars, cents. The .67, yeah. $0.670499.
Yep. Any further comments? Then I'm going to call for the vote. I'll start. Aye.
Aye.
Passes 6-0.
All right.
Council input, discussion, and possible action regarding additional golf cart parking in front of David Braun Park basketball court pavilion.
I can take the lead on this one. I was one that wanted to put this on.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So I've had quite a few people come up to me and ask about this. It would, if we did move forward with this, it would reduce the traffic there at the just specifically in front of the basketball court. There's still going to be, let me see, I did a bunch of math. Yeah, there's still going to be 21 regular parking spots on the other side, and then there's one right in front of the bathroom. Still 5 handicap, like, vehicle parking spots, but it would provide, instead of having 8 car spots or vehicle spots, it would be 12 approximately golf cart spots. And with the increased golf cart traffic, it would just be beneficial.
So what I heard you say, and this is what I think people have asked me, is, so there'll be 21 still,
22 technically.
22 technically would get, but then there'll be, you'll be taking 7 to make 12.
8 to make 12.
8 to make 12 for the golf carts.
Correct. Yeah, so there would still be 21 basically in front of the dog park and the, like, playground. There would be 12 golf cart spots in front of David Braun. There'd be 5 handicap spots just on, like, closer to the bathroom, and then there's one non-handicap that's right there in front of the bathroom. So there would still be plenty of parking along with the other parking lot, but this would just allow for people to be able to, I mean, there's a lot of, like, balls that roll out to the street. It would just make it more visible.
This is what I remember was specifically hadn't quantified like it is, so I really appreciate you doing that. And, but this is what we talked about
Yeah.
before.
And it's right in front of the basketball pavilion?
Directly, there's 8 spots directly in front of the basketball
I mean,
pavilion.
I'm not trying to put through on it, but anytime I think there's less cars driving around there, I'm happy. So I'd rather have golf carts driving around.
Yeah, it would reduce the amount of vehicles coming down the roadway, and especially right in front of the
As in car vehicles.
car vehicle.
Automobiles.
Yeah, automobiles. Golf
And
carts,
it'll enhance the number of
golf cart spot, yeah. So now there's golf cart by the
Do you
baseball
need to
fields.
see this on the screen, or are we okay?
I don't have a visual, but if you want me
I can get
to,
one.
yeah, if you want to pull up Google Maps, I can.
Do people need one, is what I'm saying?
No.
I'm curious
Do we
about
have
the
to
one
put up
spot.
signs though? Like more, is there gonna be signs or what, how is it?
It'll just be like literally like mini golf cart spots, so you wouldn't be able to park. But you could, if you wanted to, put golf cart parking signs.
So what
Little-
would be?
Maybe painted on the.
Painted,
concrete.
yes, yes.
Question.
Yes, that's on
Let me ask, let me get control of the list. If somebody parks with a car vehicle
Yeah.
in a
This
golf
is where I'm
cart
going with this.
spot, what happens?
We don't have an ordinance right now, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
So there might need to be an ordinance
Later.
later.
I would request some signage, but notifying of some kind of change that the people are used to parking there right now, they're not gonna look on the ground for, repainted some lines or anything. So I think we have to put up some kind of signage that golf cart park only.
Yeah. Well,
It has to be an
and
ordinance.
at the baseball fields, I think it's painted on the ground. There's a little golf cart on the spaces.
It is.
So you could do that for those spaces as well.
One sign that just had it.
Yeah.
But you could have like one sign with arrows each directing like golf cart parking
Yeah.
only, and then like this golf cart stamp on each. I just like less. I don't want to have.
If you just pull up Google Maps, then I can show you.
So what I guess I'm trying to get, I want to make sure the direction to Paul and his group, that we're asking them to repaint those lines, as well as putting some indication, whether it's signage or paint on there to say for golf carts.
Yeah, I think it would be very easy to paint, to take away the 8 spots that are there currently, paint the smaller, I did the math on the, I think it's, I have to pull it up, but there's going to be 12 spaces. You could paint the little golf cart spaces in each one, and then like Sarah said, you could put a sign on either side. You know how they say no parking, this way to the curb or whatever. And then you would be able to say that is, I would imagine, enforceable, but we'd have to come up with something to. Yeah, golf cart spaces are 78 inches, whereas vehicle is 114 inches. So that translates to 12 spots.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, if
then
you-
why would we keep just that one regular spot on the other end?
That's just the way it's currently set up. I don't know why. Maybe it would be for like work vehicles
Do
or.
city workers use that spot? I mean,
No, I thought that would be a good spot for golf.
So if you go over to the left, go over to the left a little bit, that right there's a spot right there, right where your mouse is at. Nope,
Yeah,
over a
correct.
little bit
There's
more,
one there.
over a little bit, well, it's right here.
Yeah, it's right under Park Road.
It's
Yeah,
right.
correct.
It's right here. There's one parking spot right there.
And I thought you could fit like 4 golf carts right there.
yeah. I mean, like right here. I've often thought you could put like in front of the bathrooms golf cart parking.
I mean, you could do that, but if you scoot over just a little bit, the parking spaces are right here. These would be the 12 golf cart parking right here. That would give you access to the park, the bathroom.
So between
playground.
the sidewalks, basically.
Between the sidewalks, yeah.
Do we know how many golf carts are typically there on the weekend? I mean, I'm guessing.
I haven't
never
done the
tried to
math.
count or
I haven't done the
whatever,
math on that. But I do know when I go there, I usually have to park. It's very rare that I can get a parking spot right in front of David Braun. I usually have to park down by the
I
dog
believe
park.
there's going to be more and more golf carts, so doing this, I think, is forward-thinking, and having fewer and fewer big automobiles by where there are people, kids walking, is a
Mhm.
good thing.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
pushes them to the other parking lot, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Are they allowed right now? I know people do, are they allowed to drive down here? Like, is that a?
No.
Because people
They
do
are
do it.
not. They
And
are
people
not.
come and park and,
Yeah, they're supposed
you know.
to go. They're supposed to go
On a-
all
on
the way
a-
that
yeah.
way and then come around.
Golf
Oh,
carts,
because you
golf
can't.
carts, but
They're-
not
you come-
automobiles.
You come
You're
out on
supposed
the
to go
left
south
side.
that way.
There is a path down there now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to come out that way.
Yeah, if you could zoom out a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Because this is a park,
More?
this is
Yeah.
a golf
Yeah,
cart
that's
path,
all
right?
right. And then over to the left.
So they come in this way.
Yeah, but I never know which way to leave when I go through there.
Yeah, so you come down that big road, and it takes the, what is that,
Yeah,
the
the-
western side of that oval, and it comes over to then the turnaround, I think there, is where at least the painted portion is, right?
Can you go to the baseball field where the parking lot is over there with the golf carts?
No, back up higher, come out.
Okay, yeah, oh, see, it's not there yet. This is an old photo. But
Yeah,
there's
it-
parking there, so now it loops all the way back around.
But it follows that
Trail.
that trail,
Yeah.
and it actually connects with, I mean, that trail, all that trail's been widened, right?
Yes.
And it connects with the big one that comes, leads to that oval next to the pavilion.
Basically, it's like a big loop right there.
And that makes the circuit for golf cart traffic at this point.
I mean, I like the idea because like you said, less vehicle, and like I said earlier, less vehicle
And
traffic.
Then I'd like to call for a motion here, and please be specific on the number of spots.
I would move to approve 12 golf cart spaces directly in front of the basketball court in David Braun Park, between the 2 sidewalks.
With signage and
That would include signage both on the parking spaces and 2 signs with arrows pointing that the included spaces are golf cart parking only.
do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. Any further conversation, any further discussion?
I do think it'd be nice
Yeah.
to also at some point eliminate that one spot too.
Maybe it's city vehicles only.
Yeah, that-
Authorized personnel.
I think that's a good point. I think city vehicles only would be a great solution, because they need to have a place
And
to
they have a
park.
golf cart too.
But right now, we're only talking about salon. I'm hopeful that this will be an ordinance actually. So, but, at this point, that's there. Then, any further comments, any further questions? Then I'm gonna call the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Got it. Next is consideration and possible action authorize interim city manager to sign a first amendment agreement for EMS services with the city of Taylor Lake Village.
Yes, so this contract will begin on October 1st. It'll compensate the city $35,000 for EMS services. They currently pay $30,000. It's a 3-year term contract, and the amendment contains a 2.5 increase in the annual fee for year 2 and year 3. The city attorney reviewed the amendment, and if we accept the amendment, if we allow Paul to sign the amendment, then we can begin with executing the documents and begin the contract on October 1st.
This has all been in the budget that we talked about, and it also does not include 10% increase in the ambulance fee in these areas. But this is all part of the budget. Any other questions or any comment? Then I need a motion.
I move to authorize the interim city manager to sign First Amendment to agreement for EMS services with the city of Taylor Lake Village.
We're here at second. Second by Sarah. Any other further comments? I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? 6-0. Next is the same thing for El Lago.
Yes.
Consideration of possible action to authorize the interim city manager to sign the First Amendment to the agreement with EMS services of the city of El Lago. Any other differences between this and?
No.
Again, I'd like to just ask for a motion.
I would move to authorize the interim city manager to sign First Amendment to agreement for EMS services with the city of El Lago.
Do I have a second? Second by Ashley, and I'm just going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. 8, consideration and possible action to approve the recommendation for the 2020 street repair project to NL Concrete and to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with NL Concrete in the amount of $336,450. All this order.
Yes, this is the street repair project. NL Concrete was the second lowest bidder. The lowest bidder did not qualify. They've done work in Clear Lake. Let me see. Sugarland, no, sir, no, not. Missouri City, Sugarland, City of Houston, Clear Lake Shores, and Jersey Village, and it has worked with Arc Engineering.
They have.
Yes. Yep. And so this is to repair, 12 firms participated in the bid process, replace the streets, total of 7 with 2 add alternates, will improve drainage and road damage, and so asking to approve an award to NL Concrete in the amount of $336,450.
Any questions?
Yes, does this need to say authorize the interim city manager instead of the city manager? For when whoever makes the motion? Does it need to say that?
Oh, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with interim?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, adding that? Okay. Then I would move to approve the recommendation and award of the 2025 street repair project to NL Concrete and to authorize the interim city manager to execute a contract with NL Concrete in the amount of $336,450.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, by Lucy. Any further questions or comments? And I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to that one. Consideration and possible action to accept the proposed City of Nassau Bay Water Conservation and Drought Contingency Plan update.
Yes, so this is the update we do every 5 years to the state. Arc Engineers does it for us. Not much has changed, it's just the drought conservation plan we go by. In case there's a drought, we start restricting water, different areas, commercial, even the city parks. And so this is just basic, some house cleaning, or house, keep it
Housekeeping.
slate, house.
There's no changes really to the plan?
No, the only thing was we had to change the water sewer rates. But everything has,
Everything else is the same?
everything's saying that y'all received.
Then, do I hear a motion?
Move to accept the proposed City of Nassau Bay Water Conservation and Drought Contingency Plan update.
Do I hear a second? Oh, Sarah beat you. That's Brian, okay, Brian, that's yours. Then, moved by Jake, second by Brian. Any other further questions? We'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. 10 is consideration of possible action to schedule the October city council meeting from October 13th, from October 16th to October 6th or October 20th to Columbus Day. Any feedback here? I think I like it.
Pushback on that? Okay, I move to reschedule the October City Council meeting from October 13th to October 20th due to Columbus Day.
Do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. All those in, then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. All those in favor? 6-0.
You don't need a raise.